And a very, very good evening. This is Sunday night as we're recording this, the day after what was Samosa Saturday 14, which was the highlight of the day for those that got involved with that. And we will have Manny coming on in the show in a little bit later to let you know how much was raised. Fantastic turnout from the Wolves fans as well. We had some Brighton fans down there. But aside from that, it all kind of went downhill from there. Obviously, we go into the game, sunny day, with lots of hope, expectation for a reaction. And it was more of the same, but probably worse, really, because we didn't just lose 1-0. We lost 3-0 and deservedly so. So if you're a Brighton fan watching this, we can't say that you didn't deserve it. You did. You outplayed us, you outfought us, you outperformed us, you outshot us, you scored more goals, and you seem to have a little bit more desire, and which surprises me because Wolves still have something to fight for. I know that there's some frustrated people in the generally across the board when Wolves lose, but we have lost now 3 out the last 10. Since the turn of the year. We did have a fully fit squad in February, and Neves came into the team. He played a 3-man midfield, which was a 3-5-2. He took Neves off at half-time, which I think was planned. Fabio and Wang started up front. He took Fabio off at half-time, which for me, he was looking like our best player. And there's questions to start being asked. Are cracks appearing? Is he losing the dressing room? Is the confidence draining? Do the team want Europe? Do Fosun want Europe? There are some people already calling for Bruno to go. I don't concur with that. My view, is they've got to back him in the summer and let him build the squad he wants, and that needs to be showing the ambition from the owners. This summer's going to be a big one, and I think the Wolves fans have rightly got to be asking questions. But I will be asking everyone that comes up because we're on here to ask the question with Bruno Lage, back him or sack him. And we're also going to be asking a very important question because I need new Netflix series to watch. So I'm going to ask the guys their favourite TV shows or Netflix series and recommendations. Of course, if you've got any as well, please let us know. But the channel is all about reporting on the mood. So we have to face the hard questions at time. It is a difficult period for Wolves. We are well safe. At the start of the season, if we'd have taken 8th, I think we'd have all snapped their hands off. But the fact of the matter is that we just can't seem to take a grip. And I think West Ham have lost again today. So again, we're back to 3 points behind with a game in hand. But hey ho. So we're gonna kick off with Jason, who's sporting his latest retro top I can see in the green room, and we have got a very special debutant that's going to be joining Jason. So let's bring him on to the show. Hi, Jason.
Dave, he was wide awake, and I'm not being rude. As soon as you started talking, mate, you set him off to sleep. Straight away, obviously.
I've sent him to sleep. Oh man. Fantastic. And what's your young man's name?
His name's Jonas, which, believe it or not, is an anagram of my name. So we wanted to call him something because my granddad and my dad have got the initials JFG. So we wanted to keep that going. So it's Jonas Frederick Guy. But I might need to book you as a babysitter, Dave, because you've just sent him straight off.
I've sent him to sleep listening to my voice. Well, Jason, of course, is the host of the Fabulous Wolf Whistle podcast. Obviously also I think chairman or secretary of the Wolves All-Stars.
Yes,
and a phenomenal fundraiser. And in fact, I think you've ran a half marathon today, haven't you?
Well, it was a Birmingham 10K, Dave, but to be honest, the way I feel now, it feels like I've run an half marathon. It feels like I've run a full one. But we're talking about Jonas falling to sleep. I should have took him to the game yesterday.
Oh man, I thought we started reasonably well again. I thought we started, and we just faded again. I mean, we had that shot from Moutinho that could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
And then just after that, Neves hit one. It was blocked out, and that was about it. After that, it was all Brighton, wasn't it?
I mean, you made a great point, Dave, right at the start that Brighton have got absolutely nothing to play for. Yet they come to Molineux yesterday like it was them vying for Europe and us that were just prepared to sit in mid-table. And that's the frustrating thing, really, because if you look at the teams on paper, Wolves have got a much stronger side than Brighton, and this is part of the frustration. And I haven't really mentioned the money side of things before, but we're paying our players some ridiculously big wages, and to put performances in like that. Listen, Saiz yesterday, I think it was about the 85th minute. He's got his hands on his knees. You can't do that in the Premier League. You can't. He looks tired, fatigued. Whether he's fatigued or tired or just, we're 3-0 down and he can't be bothered, I don't know. But it's just so frustrating, Dave, to watch because once again, West Ham have lost today or lost the weekend, sorry. And the frustrating thing is it's the hope that kills you because every week, it's going to go into next week again now. We win next week and we're back in the European places potentially. And it's ridiculous.
Today.
Because in 8th place, I'll tell you now, Dave, we're punching well above our weight. We aren't an 8th place side. And the way we've escalated up the division and, sat where we have done for the most part of it, listen, they say the league table doesn't lie, but in my opinion, it's not a true reflection. And you look at the goals scored, I mentioned this last time, Dave, there's Everton and Leeds who are basically in relegation places or relegation battle who scored more goals than us, and that's frightening. And
that stat wasn't there from that Carl Whitehouse gave us last week in the chat that it's the in the history of the Premier League, no team has finished in the top 10 scoring fewer goals than Wolves.
I mean, 33 goals. It's ridiculous, and I suppose that's indicative of I was going to say, well, we're not higher in the league, but for 33 goals, we shouldn't be in 8th place. So I'm quite dumbfounded by the position. Listen, I've seen the gripes on social media with regards to Bruno, etc. And for me, I still think he's the man for the job. I think there's a massive job for him to do. The first 3 games of the season, obviously we lost all 3 games, but
we were fantastic football.
And what he's done is reverted to type with a more safer style of football. And you could say on reflection, 8th place isn't a bad place to be. But, we've lost, we won 3 out of the last 10. Or what was that, Dave? Was it?
3 out of the last 10.
Out the last 10.
Out the last 10, I think we've lost 3 in a row without scoring as well.
And against the teams that we're playing against, it's indefensible, really. But yeah, I still think Bruno's the man for the job. I do. Just what frustrates me is on social media when you got people going, "Oh, what about Sean Dyche?" And you just think, "Well,
are you joking? Is someone actually recommended Sean Dyche?"
People have recommended Sean Dyche, and you just think, "Well, hang on a sec. Burnley have been in the bottom half all season, fighting a relegation battle. They've sacked him for a reason, and now, I mean, look, it's ridiculous." With Bruno, I do think he needs a strong pre-season where he gets backed fully, and then we'll judge him properly next season. But 8th place, if we finish anywhere around this, we can't complain. But I'm just so frustrated in the fact that we could have been looking, as I said last week as well, a 6th place team here.
Well, Kevin Layton said, I watched Everton beat Chelsea. They showed heart and soul. And it's not been something that you've been able to really accuse of the Wolves players, because I always think that they try, but there's something, Emma said there's something seems not right. Something isn't right somewhere. I mean, Ryan Lester on his, he's a journalist, on his socials, on his tweets, has said there's been a bit of a argy-bargy at the training ground between Bruno and Raul and Johnny, and they were both out the side yesterday at the start. How much you read into that? No, he's saying it's a good source. I mean, the dressing room's always been a really tight place. Neves talked about it on his 200s, about like the best dressing room. And and funny enough, Emma says maybe the pressure is coming from themselves within the group because they're not scoring and they're starting to like, why are we not scoring? And they're getting frustrated because they're not putting the ball in the net. And with Jason, 90 minutes yesterday, Brighton had 9 shots on target. Wolves had one shot on target the whole game at home to a Brighton side who admittedly are a good football side. You know, they've had some good away results. They haven't won at home since the turn of the year, but they haven't won 4 games on the road. So maybe being on the road suits them when teams open a bit. But they played us off the park. We didn't put a glove on them, really. I mean, Neto hit the post right late on. He was one that was showing a bit of heart and desire in the last 5 or 10 minutes to try and make something happen, which was great. But I look across the whole team and they look devoid of confidence. They look devoid of, belief.
Well,
I've not seen.
Go on, sorry, Dave.
I've not seen that really before, and that was what I was seeing yesterday.
Yeah, I think there is a frustration. I noticed a couple of things on the pitch yesterday as well. There was one where Cody and Bolly were having words, nothing major. I'm sure it's just passion, but Bolly put a pass astray and Cody really laid into him. And then later on, I don't know if you remember the free kick which Martinho took, which Saiss was over it. And it looked like Saiss wanted it. And they clearly communicated that Saiss was going to take it. And then Martinho decided to hit it. And you could just see that there is a frustration brewing. And it's clear, in one respect, it's good. If you do get the old training ground bust-ups, then at least you can argue that there's passion. But listen, I'm sure what Ryan's put, if it's come from a good source, a lot of the stuff he puts on social media is credible, so I'm sure it is. But are we going to look at the end of this season an exodus with, a lot of the players moving on? And I think in the past we've kept hold of key players. We've always lost a big one like Jota, etc. But we've kept on to key players normally added to the squad. But I think this pre-season is going to be quite different. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 names going. I don't know who, but I just think there's got to be big changes because we have seemed the second half of the season to massively stagnate. And it wasn't good watching yesterday. And
it's a shame, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, we've seen us play some great football at times this year. The early part of the year, since the term of the year, we're starting to score some goals. Things were looking up. Second, we've lost Neves and Podence. I think Podence is a key player for me because he just seems to make everything else seems to click. Raul isn't the same player as he was last year. He's been frustrated. We've talked about it. We've lost Semedo yesterday as well, who came in, which is shame. Johnny's looked good. Aït-Nouri was trying the step overs and stuff like that. Was, Neves obviously wasn't fully fit, but came in. It was a bit of a surprise when he come in. The whole thing is frustrating. I was just watching that game yesterday, almost with after about 15 minutes with a resigned feeling in myself. I wasn't excited. I was watching the game obviously, I do my vlog. There's one bit of, funnily enough, the corners and the set piece delivery as well. There's 2 or 3 corners that didn't even get off the ground and he beat the first man. There was one corner which I caught on my vlog, which I watched it back 3 or 4 times as I was editing my vlog. The ball comes over, it's in the centre of the area, and there's 4 or 5 Brighton players, and there's not one Wolves player in the centre of the 6-yard box off a corner.
And Dave, that's like we said earlier, they want it more. Now, I always say about a corner, that's a cross into the box. What do they tell wingers to do? Get the ball into the box, hit the byline, get the ball into the box. A corner for me is a cross into the box. Get all the big men up and, Bolly, etc. And you got a chance on goal. And when they try and play the short corners, which very rarely work, or they can't beat the first man, it's just an absolute waste of a set piece for me.
Exactly. And they were catching us on the break. And they were cutting through us at ease at times. And I don't know, like you said, Saiss, he didn't look on it. Bolly was not his imperious self. And when the two either side of Cody are a little bit off it, it exposes him a lot as well. And we don't concede many goals. I think it's Wolves' biggest defeat of the season. It's definitely Brighton's biggest win of the season. And it's frustrating. But I mean, what changes? I mean, you're right. We're going to talk about this with everyone, but I do think that I had a little bit of a rant for me, not actually as a rant as such, like, but like, was a little bit frustrated after the game with Magic and Sensational Stan, who was my dad and my father-in-law, and I was like, we really have got to, if we're going to go with Bruno, they have got to properly back him in the summer window. We've had a lot of transfer windows where they've done a bit of business recently, but this summer window coming up, I think, is so key. If we do not get it right, judging on what's happening, we could be in real trouble next year. If they can get it right, we've either got to push on or we're going to go backwards.
Well, you talk about the defence, Dave. I think we've missed Max Kilman massively, and I'm not going to say Willy Bolly's come back in and done a bad job, but he's
had some good games.
Yeah, we've missed Max Kilman massively, and I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. And the other one to look at is Jose Sarr. Now, without him, I really don't think we'd be in this position, So I think we've got a lot to thank him for, and I think we need to. I've said this time again that we really need to look at an old-fashioned centre forward, someone who runs down the middle, someone who can get onto the end of through balls, someone who can get onto the end of crosses.
Who's going to put his head in basically and his body in where it hurts.
Yeah. Listen, look, Bully. He would put his head where players wouldn't put their feet, but we haven't really got a player like that. And, with Raul, listen, he's done fantastic for the club. He really, really has. And I'm not going to sit here and,
He's still our top scorer for the season on 6 goals.
Yeah, on 6, which is Dave. We're in 8th position, fighting for Europe. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, 6 goals. Centre half can get that in a season. Let's be honest. But I'm probably eating my words, but he doesn't look like the player he was. And I'm not saying it's going to be like that forever. Few more games, etc. I'm sure it'll change. Few more goals.
Pre-season, maybe he'll come back the old role next season.
Yeah, but we haven't got time. We can't wait for players to score goals. We can't wait any longer for Fabio Silva to score. I'm willing Fabio Silva to score. I want him to score. Did he look the most lively of the front three yesterday? Yes, he did. But regardless if he looked lively or not, he didn't score. He didn't even come close to scoring, in my opinion. I just think a lot of work needs to be done in the final third, and it's so important because that would have been the difference this season massively.
Okay, mate, and obviously final words. We've got, first of all, we want your favourite TV show or Netflix recommendation before we get on to your performance rating, man of the match, and your moment of the day.
Yeah, Netflix recommendation. I watched a documentary. It's called Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez. I don't know if you watched it, Dave, yet.
No, I haven't, no.
But it's about an American footballer, and it's very, very interesting.
The producer's making notes here as I speak, but backstage.
Listen, Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez. And, me and the missus like a good Netflix documentary. And the good thing is it's one of them where as soon as it's coming up, continue watching. You're there. Matchsticks in your eyes, but you want to watch the next one. It's really good. There's a lot of twists to it. Very interesting, and it's true as well. And it's really, really good watch today. But I don't want to give anything away.
Well, we'll definitely be watching that, mate. Thank you for that one. Your performance rating, your moment of the day, and your man of the match, if you can pick one.
Performance rating, I'm going to give a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10, yeah.
And they're lucky they've got that.
Yeah, I was going to say that's generous.
Moment of the day, Samosa Saturday, Manny. I know the amount raised. I'm not going to steal your thunder. Unbelievable, fantastic. And not just the amount that's raised, the awareness for dementia and the fact that people are being brought together as well. Unbelievable. Man of the match. I didn't even think of that, Dave. Man of the match. I've got no idea. Listen, I think I'll give it to Ruben Neves because he's come back in. Yes, it was the script for him to play half. He done it very well. And look, yeah, you couldn't really pick it. I couldn't really pick a player out of that, but I'll have to give it to Ruben Neves.
Fantastic, mate. And you can find Jason on Wolves Premier on most of the socials, and obviously the Wolves Whistle podcast. And Jason, I know you've been raising money again today, have you not?
Yes, I did the 10K for my daughter. Suffers from a genetic condition. Actually, that's the wrong thing to say. She doesn't suffer from it. My daughter's got a genetic condition, 1p36, which is chromosome deletion. So we did the Birmingham 10K today. And yeah, it was very, very hard, but very worthwhile. I mean, we raised over £1,000 on Twitter alone, which is absolutely mind blowing. So I want to thank everybody.
Can you do me a favour, Jason? Can you put that link in the chat for anyone?
Yes, we'll do 100%. And thank you for everybody that's donated. And even if people can't donate, because I understand, you know, the times we're in, etc. Just, you know, I'm sorry if I've spammed your timeline on Twitter with all the requests and all the info, etc. But it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to other people as well.
And fantastic. I'm looking forward as well, because I do want to get some tickets to that dinner that you've announced.
Yeah.
So make sure you keep a couple for us. For
100%. Dean Saunders on October the 27th. And I did a dinner with Dean not so long back, and he's going to tell it warts and all. And
that'll be really, really good. I know he was like, it's a bit of a chaos time, but that is going to be so entertaining. I hear him on TalkSport talking, and he's such a nice guy when you listen to him talk, and he always just down to earth. So I think that's going to be a brilliant evening, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully. Oh, she's woke up. He's woke up.
Here he is, flipping heck.
How many weeks? How many weeks old?
He's 10 weeks old.
Oh.
So what's he seen in that time? 3 wins, Dave?
3 wins, yeah, man. And he's made his debut as well on YouTube at 10 weeks old.
He's got the same hairstyle as the style of Solback, and he wants him back in charge.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, Jonas and Jason, thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Always looked forward to hearing what you've got to say.
No problem, buddy.
Please put the link in the chat.
Will do, thank you.
I'll put it up on the screen when it comes up. Nice one. Cheers, Jay. Oh, bye. So that's Jason with his young lad there, Jonas, making his YouTube debut. Next up, we've got Craig from Tuber Ward, who's got Tuber Wolves, who's going to be wanting to make a few words. And then following that, we're going to be getting Manny on, and then the rest of the guys are going to be following suit. We've got so many today. But Craig, he did ask to come on first early on today, but because Jason's his little one was there, you stepped aside so he can go on first so he can put the little one to bed.
Lovely nipper, really nice.
Absolutely fantastic. Craig, I know you've got you're not happy. You're not happy, bunny, are you?
I'm just seething, Dave, because this is a long-standing problem. You know, everybody's talking about the forwards and whatever. This has been over 3 seasons. I want to read something that I wrote on a blog yesterday on Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
These are like my words. 7 lost in the last 10. 3 seasons worth of mostly inept defensive football. We can't attack at speed. It's not a recent issue, and it's down to the players we have. They want too much time on the ball. They cannot play against the high press, and they move the ball so slowly when going forward that teams get back in shape. Serious issues, no doubt, and a pathetic display today. Dave, you can't break down Premier teams that are in formation when you play the type of attacking football we play. It's slow, it's ponderous, it's side to side, it's back to back. We have nobody to put what I call an incisive ball through for a quick run. We have no intelligent forwards anymore that can find the space inside the box. And on the odd occasions that they do get in those places, they want the extra touch. They don't fire the ball straight away, which wrong foots the goalkeeper. That everybody's able to get set, and the stats don't lie, do they? We've got 3 seasons now worth of really low goal scoring offensive football from Wolves. The reason we're in 8th spot is one reason only. Our defensive displays and organisations are outstanding. Without our defensive nous, we'd be in relegation form now. I mean, yesterday we're at home in front of a full house. There is no way that those players that we've come to know and love have not got the passion for this club. We've seen it far too many times. They've got the passion and they work hard, but they just how they're being coached, and also what you sort of add that with their natural game, which is clearly slow ball and a methodical way of playing, which is not working in the Premiership. You've got to hit teams on the break. All the teams that score the most goals in the Premier are very, very quick, very, very quick one-touch football. They're playing triangles. They find the space, but that final ball is lightning quick, and the shot's off really quickly as well. And we just don't do that. Raul's not.
Paul Mansell. Paul Mansell said, has said a few times to me that it seems like they're trying to score the perfect goal, as in absolutely perfect, and obviously it's difficult to score the perfect goal. When you score the perfect goal, they're absolutely amazing. But that's what he said. It seems to me like they're trying to score the perfect goal. And I think that one of the things that does frustrate Wolves fans is the fact that Bruno Lage was brought in on a remit to play attacking football and to get more goals. When he was in charge of Benfica, they scored over 100 goals. They were attacking, free-flowing. And I think we've seen the first 3 or 4 games of the season how the vision of how he wants us to play. It was exciting. It was refreshing. It was brilliant. The only thing we didn't do was put the ball in the back of the net. We just couldn't score until we got those 4 goals against Forest. And then, of course, no points on the board. And he's had to be pragmatic and look and go, we need to find a way of using what we had with Nuno and what I want. And, we got the defence good. The team understood. And then we were getting the wins and everyone's happy. Okay, we wasn't scoring many goals. And then we had a couple of bad results and bad runs, but we bounced back. We got into the new year and we thought we'd put all of that problem behind, because, January to February, we started to score a few goals. Hence, we got up to the position where we were. And then since then, it's kind of gone backwards. And, we've scored. We're not scoring enough goals. I think it's something like 15 games out of 33 we've not scored in a game.
It's 14, I think, Dave. But there are basics here, though, aren't there? When you were a kid and you were taught to pass a football, you were taught to pass a football 2 to 3 yards in front of a player running onto it. How many times do you see Wolves back 3 and midfield play a ball forward and it's behind the player, so that they have to stop running and then come back for the ball and start up again? That's like a relay racer having the baton stuck to him when he's standing still. There's just absolutely no speed in attack at all. And we're just making so many bad decisions. We're not running into the right spaces. Fabio Silva, for me, he's going to be a brilliant player, but he's playing with players that at the moment are slow, they're cumbersome. Poor old Raul, what he must be feeling after that animal, Luis, what he did to him. That challenge still angers me to this day. It was reckless. Did he mean to hurt him? No way. But he was reckless, and it was a stupid challenge. And it's not Raul for 6. He's not the same player. He cannot play with that headband on. You can see it in him. He's totally frustrated. His heading ability is 50% of what it used to be. I am really, really concerned, Dave, that we have not got the right personnel to play the fast-flowing football that is required to score goals in the Premiership. And a point you made about Benfica, Dave, it's a NAF league. Portuguese league is a NAF league. Every single team in the Premiership on their day is capable of beating the other team. You've got nowhere near that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, it's like Scotland, isn't it? You got Rangers and Celtic, and that's about it. But in Portugal, you got Sporting, you've got Porto, you got Benfica, Braga, and so there is a bit more competition. And you know, they do have some high quality players. I mean, they had like Felix and stuff like that. But you are right; the depth of the league isn't what it is on Premier League. We've seen many times that a team down the bottom, like Everton today, have beaten Chelsea. Just before we get on to your further points, I just want to say Jason has put the link to his Just Giving. If you want to donate, I've put that on the screen there for you as well. So if you did want to get involved with that, but I get where you're coming, mate, in regards to that. And I think it's been well documented that Bruno Lage wants to play a 4-2-3-1 formation, i.e. four at the back, 2 just in front, and then you use the attacking in that way. It's quite a fluid system, and that's where he played at Benfica. He has sort of kept with the 3 because the defensive side of things knew what they were doing, and I think this is why we're asking the question, because there are people asking the question about should he go? I mean, at the end of the day, he's had one transfer window. He's come in, and my belief is he's a good manager. He's having a sticky time. I was a bit disappointed with his interview on Wolves TV after the game. He basically was lost for words and didn't say anything. And he was kind of looked like he didn't have a clue. But like, I'm sure he does have a clue. I think he was just exasperated. But like, he keeps saying, he has said, we've seen this game so many times. Well, we saw it again yesterday, but with an extra 2 goals conceded. But you're going to get to the summer. He's going to reset. And there must be plans afoot, because he needs to be backed. If they went out and got him, they sacked Nuno. Yeah, and obviously at the time, some people were calling for Nuno to go. Some people wanted him to have another season because of the pandemic, but they sacked him. They went out and got Bruno Lage. They brought him in. At the start of the season, if we'd have said we'd have got 8th, we'd have all probably gone, yeah, okay, good first season. So from that point of view, he's ticked a box, and we've got to that position. But if they brought him in to play this type of football that he has played, then they've got to back him in the transfer window. They've got to back him in terms of the squad and what he needs to play that sort of football. And if they don't, they're failing. You start to be thinking of pointing the finger at the owners and those inside, rather than the man, because every single Wolves fan can see we need to refresh the squad. We need to, if we want to take the next step, we've got to invest. Now, I'm like very supportive, always backed Fosun and the board and all of that, and we can understand, and they've generally got things right. They've got to get it massively right in this summer window.
Yeah, Dave, there's a reason why we play well against the top teams, and we play generally very, very poorly against the lower teams. And the reason for that is that the top teams, they're not as concerned about us as they are about themselves. In other words, they back themselves, that they've got the skill to score the goals against us, to beat us. So they don't set up to stop us playing. They are more concerned about themselves. Now, when we play the lower teams, they are concerned about us scoring against them and being able to shut them out. So their first role for us is to frustrate us. How do you frustrate Wolves? Well, you let the back 3 do what they want. You let the back 3 knock the ball across the back as much as they like, because it doesn't hurt you. You then overload in midfield. You don't give any space to our midfield at all. And then you man mark our forwards, and you stop us scoring every single time. And that's why we struggle against the lower sides, because they've worked us out. They're not too worried about scoring against us early doors, because they know that when they frustrate us and we get into the game, we're going to make a mistake, as we did yesterday. I mean, I feel sorry for our defence because they literally go into every game where they cannot make a single error because we can't score goals.
Well, and Manny's talked about this many, many times when he's coming on. I'm sure he's going to talk about it again when he comes on next after you. You know, if we're scoring 2 or 3 goals, if we lose, if we concede one, we're still winning the game. And when you're not scoring goals, the other team only has to score 1 to pick something up. And it happened again yesterday, you know, where we went behind. And as soon as we went behind, you know, turned to my dad, turned to Stan and Emma, and it was like, we talked about half time, couldn't see that we were going to come back into the game, couldn't see where we were going to get a shot on target, let alone score a goal. Mate,
Thank you anyway. Netflix show.
Yeah, you're going to say Netflix or TV show. Come on, give us some recommendations.
Sex Education. It's hilarious.
Sex Education, right?
It's absolutely brilliant. It's so funny. You're
comedy.
Yeah, you'll bust your sides. It's just it really is very, very funny. Man of the match. They don't deserve one at all, but I'm going to give it to Saar, who is just a revelation. He's an amazing goalkeeper. The performance rating 1 out of 10, Dave. It was
wow. Even I gave it above 1.
You look at the Express and Star ratings. And Cody, Bolly, 3s from the Express and Star.
Wow.
So they're in a player above 5. So, you know, that for me, no matter what, passion, if it's not happening for you, your work rate and your passion must be seen by everybody. And that was, that was devoid yesterday. There was nothing there, Dave, yesterday at all. It was like they were frustrated. They couldn't see a way forward, so they actually didn't try. That's what it looked like yesterday, and that's why, for me, Saar is man of the match because he. And
your moment of the day, you can pick one out of that.
Yeah. I think for me, I forget who passed the ball to him, but Semedo was belting down the right hand side of the wing, and the pass to him was
Fabio Silva.
4 yards behind him. 4 yards behind him. He had to stop.
No, that wasn't Fabio Silva.
No, and he had to go back for the ball. And that sums up, Dave, why we cannot get behind these teams. We cannot hit them because we're just taking too much time. Anyway, that's my Dave. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you very much. It's good to get you on because I know you want to get it off your chest, and you obviously support the channel very much, and it's much appreciated, mate.
Yeah, mate,
one of these days we'll get you on again with the tuba.
With the tuba. Can you just say to Manny, well done, great job he does. Well done, Manny. I know you're in the green room. Brilliant job again on Samoa's Saturday, mate.
He's putting his thumbs up for you. I can see him in the green room now. He's putting his thumbs up. So,
and we're still here, Dave, and we're going to be Wolves till the day we die. But it doesn't stop us being hurt, does it, and upset by the way.
No, it doesn't, mate. We don't mind losing. You know, if we've played and thinking, and I think that's the thing in the recent games is we've not seen that anything from the team really to get us off our seats, and you know, is that a direct result of Traore going out as well on loan to Barcelona, because we haven't got that type of player that can.
A longer term problem, isn't it? It's a longer term problem. It's a longer term problem.
Yeah. But, I mean, got nothing coming off the bench really that can cause a bit of chaos. But anyway, Craig, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
You take care, Dave. All the best, mate.
Fantastic.
See you guys.
Cheers. As always, I just want to thank Spider Miner for powering the show. A link to if you're interested in that sort of stuff and mining is in the link in the description below. Next, we're going to have on my buddy I'm having a game of tennis with tomorrow.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing, mate?
Man.
Absolutely cream crackered.
I went to the women's game today, actually. You know why? Just to see a Wolves team wearing a Wolves shirt score goals, and they won 4-0, you know, because we've forgotten what a goal is at the Molyneux, and so I thought I'd go and get a goal detox at the women's game.
Well, exactly, and they've had a fantastic season, and I know
Yeah,
you
brilliant,
go
brilliant
down and
season.
support them as much as you can, don't you? It was a decent turnout today.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a bit of rain. Yesterday's day was obviously a nice, bright, sunny day, ruined by 90 minutes at the Molineux. But the rest of the day was mind blowing, fabulous, and wonderful.
Well, let's get the bad bit out the way.
Man,
In
okay,
terms of the game, and then we'll talk about
okay.
all the positives from Samosa Saturday and Dementia UK.
Yeah, so Craig has summed it up for me. This is a long-term issue. People saying this has been going on now for those 3 years. We cannot score goals because of the way we play. We can't pass balls. We can't put through balls through. We can't find space. We don't create chances, and we don't score goals. If you'd have said to me, without naming any side, if you said there's a side in the Premier League that has lost 9 of the last 14, that has only scored 33 goals all season, that is the top scorer of 6, that has gone 16 games without scoring, 16 games where they haven't scored this season, I'd expect that side to be in the relegation places if those are the stats. If that side then, in a must-win game, rolled over to let a team that had scored less than them, Brighton, 31, Brighton were on, less than us, let them score 3 goals and roll us over, I'd expect the manager to be sacked.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, if I wasn't talking about Wolves and I heard those stats, I'd say, get rid of the manager. Surely they've got to get rid of the manager. But guess what? We're in 8th. How? How are we in 8th? We should be 8th.
Keep saying that. How the hell are we in 8th?
If I was a inspector, I'd investigate Wolves for fraud. They've committed corruption. They've paid someone to get 8th place.
That's brilliant.
You cannot lose 9 out of 14. Will have 1 shot on target. Let a team that has scored less than you and your goal scoring is pitiful, let them roll you over 3-0. You can't do that. People are giving. Jason gave him 4 out of 10. I love Jace. Honestly, I absolutely worship him.
Love Jason.
Yeah, everyone does. 4 out of 10. I'll give you my rating now. It's 0. It's no more than 0. Can't be any. Yesterday's rating was 0 because, as Craig says, pride, passion, roll up your sleeves. If you do that, then you say, okay, Brighton were the better side. We gave it our all. It just wasn't going for us today. Fair enough, and we'll go on to the next game. None of that happened. That was devoid of anything from first minute to last. We gave them a penalty, right, and they missed. So we thought, we'll give them another one. Yeah, have another one.
Have another go.
Yeah, have another go.
We've conceded more penalties than any other team in the Premier League, and we've only had 1 penalty all season. And someone says, how come we've had only 1 penalty? I'll probably turn around, probably because we don't get in the box enough.
To be honest, yesterday was the worst feeling I've had watching a Wolves fan since Mark McGee, Glenn Hoddle type days in Division 1, when we used to just keep being, in the same position, mid-table, miss out on the playoffs, mid-table, producing dour performances. So that was the first time since I've been in the Premier League. I know last year we lost against Burnley 4-0, and we lost some big games, but we weren't there to watch it. We weren't there to watch it. We were there to watch that, to witness that. And now this is a 2-pronged thing for me. I'm not saying Bruno out. I am saying back him. You can't just change your manager. We are 8th place. The board has to back him. They have to revamp it. But also, we can't blame Bruno either. When have you been impressed by any of Bruno's substitutions?
That's a good point.
When 16 games, we've only come back in once. 15 games where we've conceded first, we've lost the game. We've lost. He's had 15 games to come up with a method of saying, okay, we're 1-0 down. Okay, this is how we're going to play to get ourselves back in. Not once have we looked like, let's be honest, the Villa was a freak. At 2-0 down after 70-odd minutes, we were awful. And then suddenly, why? you know, it happened and we won, and it was a great day for the fans. That was a one-off. Actually, when the opposition score first, we lose. We lose. It's basically when they score first, the fans should be thanked for coming to the Molineux and depart, and the team should just go back into the dressing room because we know we're not going to get back. That's how awful we are when we go behind. Now that, for me, should be, you have to look at the manager. Forget the players that are out. The manager should have a plan. This is how we're going to go. This is how we're going to manage the game to get back in. And we never, ever look like getting back in. Brighton picked us off 2-3, and they could have gone more if they wanted to. It could have been really embarrassing. And Brighton didn't outplay us for me. They didn't outplay us. They just turned up for a stroll in the park. They came up, they turned up, had a stroll in the park, took 3 points home, and their fans afterwards were gobsmacked. They hadn't scored for ages themselves. They don't score. They'd scored less than us. They're that bad at scoring goals. And then we gave them 3 goals.
Bruno Lage said it. He said we just watched Brighton play, and that's what it felt like. It
pretty much, you know, our team might as well have been sat with us and just let, you know, because honestly, it was the first time I'd ever been in I mean, we lost, let's be honest, we had a really bad performance against Palace at home or Brentford at home, but even then you didn't have this feeling that we had yesterday, which was just, you know, such an important game, such a big game.
It's almost, when they scored, it was like, okay.
You know, there's stories about, you know, behind the scenes, is everything okay? Has there been a bust? No, let's be honest. When you're not playing well, you want a few bust-ups on the training ground. You want players to say, what the hell's going on? You want players questioning each other. You want the manager challenged. Come on, boss. You want to make these changes? Why don't you bring me on? If I'm on the bench, I want to be banging on the door of Bruno and saying, get me on, man. Get me on. What are you doing? We're not scoring goals and I'm on the bench, you know. So I haven't got a problem with people falling out and getting a bit, because there must be some people who do care about the situation. Now, he's got a big job, huge job. Fosun have got a big job. You know, he should be getting more out of these players. But let's be honest, most of the players are Nuno's players. Most of the players are players we've had for a number of seasons. And it comes to an end and you have to refresh again. And you have to buy. And otherwise, you start slipping down because it's the same player.
It does feel like the squad majorly needs refreshing. And I don't mean a complete overhaul, but some people are going, let's shit the whole lot out. And
that never happens, Dave.
It needs a refresh. We need 4 or 5 quality players coming in. There is players that are going to go out for definite. Yeah. Obviously, they're always going to be, but we need to be investing in the team rather than sell to buy type of thing. You know, we've done that.
It's in all positions as well, Dave. It's in all positions. You know, the progressive midfielder who always looks forward. You know, look forward through balls. I haven't got Morgan Gibbs-White. You know, yes, he's in the championship. Yesterday, he'd be the best player on the pitch if he was playing for us, I think.
Mate, 100%. I mean, like, I think,
you know, I'd have him tomorrow for the you know, what we've put out on the pitch yesterday. But you know, for some players do actually, Mason Mount, Reece James, Harry Kane, a lot of players went into the championship. They learnt their trade and then they came back to the Premier League and performed. So it can happen. So we shouldn't be ruled out. At this moment in time, you shouldn't rule anybody out. You know, some people have said, get Chem Campbell in, just give him a game because he can't do any worse, you know. So
Chiquino, as well. Chiquino, every time he's come on and I've seen him, he's been direct. He's got to the byline. He's got pace. He can get a player. He can cross the ball. Where was he? We've not seen him. And
we haven't seen him. I think, you know, the injury to Semedo and then him putting Neto and Raul, once it wasn't working, suddenly there's only 3 subs and you can't change it again. So we'd made all our changes by half time. So I think we were flummoxed. We almost snookered ourselves there. You know, someone's just put there why the player's gone away. I mean, Bruno left at 6 this morning, you know, and I think Johnny was on a flight at 5 this morning, you know, so they'd all gone away. I just said to my sons, there was a manager called Brian Clough, and if his team had put in a performance like that on a Saturday, every player would be in training on Sunday morning.
I think this is a question I want to ask you, because Bruno obviously, believes in giving the players a break. We had a 2-week international break. Some went away on international duty. The others went away to some beach somewhere.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Came back. We had a game. Man City got moved, and they were off again. And now they're off again till Wednesday. Is there any wondering that we feel like the team's on the beach when they actually are on the beach?
I don't understand that modern style of football. If I was a manager and my team had played like that and I really cared, I'd be in the dressing rooms. I'd just say, I'm not saying a word. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, I want you on the training ground. You can forget your plans. You're going nowhere. And I'd walk out the dressing room and I'd expect everybody to turn up. And I'd have a heart-to-heart with all of them and say, what the hell is going on? Is it me or is it you? Because that is unacceptable. There's people sitting on chairs, paid big money after a pandemic. All the prices are going up. Season tickets are expensive. People have paid a lot of money. Here we are raising funds for a charity, and then people are having to fork out lots and lots of money to go and see a game of football, which is just a game. And guess what? We produce that dross. The manager should be asking questions. This modern style football is like, oh, go and have a couple of days away and then we'll,
I've got to be honest, mate. I'm a bit of
I'm old school in that respect.
Vexed by the fact that they are paid more in a week.
Oh yeah,
they are footballers than most people earn in a year, and I know they have. They're going to training. They train up until whatever time, and then they have their own time, and they have to do all the stuff in terms of like keeping the body and the food and all that sort of stuff. But like they've had a lot of time off recently.
Dave, that all comes on performance. Now, if we're winning, producing good performances, and that's working because he's giving them the time off and they're going back home to see their families, and that's okay. But when things are going wrong, you have to analyse, why are they going wrong? What are we doing? You have to spend more time working on it. So you have to get those players back in. The best players in the world, the best. David Beckham was brilliant at crossing the ball. Why? Because he trained. And he kept training after everybody had left home.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo became the best in the world because after everybody had gone home, he carried on. He carried on and on and on. So a striker should be thinking, I haven't scored. He should be thinking, I'm in the training ground tomorrow. I'm going to be shooting till from dusk till dawn to make sure I can finish a ball into the back of the net. And, these are, like I said, for me, there's nothing beats hard work. Really, really working hard. And if we'd seen that from our team yesterday, working really hard, working for each other, playing on the front foot, giving it their all because there's an outside chance that you might go into Europe, then we'd say, okay, fair enough. You did everything you could do. A bit of bad luck, or we just need a bit of, but there was none of that. And you can't accept that. No football fan should ever accept, a team full of professionals being paid huge amounts of wages, just rolling over and just opening the door and asking Brighton to just collect the win and go home. It was horrific, to be honest, yesterday.
100%. Well, we've got nearly 150 people watching live and loads in the chat. So if you're enjoying this, please smash a like on the video.
I'm usually a positive guy, so you know what I mean.
Well, you're the same as me, Manny. We are. Always try to be practical and look at things in the light today and try and be constructive. But it's a bit difficult, and I'm frustrated and annoyed. You're the same, and we're just human beings. And although we are positive people, Dave, you have to say how it is.
Football is about scoring goals. That's all it is. It's simple, isn't it? You got a ball and you got to kick it into the other net. That's all it is. It's nothing much more than that. We can't find a way of even getting one on target. Forget scoring, we can't even get one on target. And if the other one scores, we're like, oh, we're one down, so we've lost the game. And Bruno hasn't shown anything in that terms of trying to come back. Has he done anything positive on the bench in the system changes? Every time he makes a substitute, you get a flurry of tweets and flurry of responses from the fans saying, what's he done that for? Why has he brought him off for? Why has he not put him on? We're all questioning him. Not once, I think, fans have said, what a substitution. That's a game changer. That
has been something, a bit of a theme through the season, making lines such as, and Project says there.
But
Humor on it in Dubai, posting pictures from Dubai, apparently.
Well, this is like I said, after a game like that, if they'd have given their all, then fair enough. But no way. It's a game like that. You get them in. You say first thing in the morning, you are in. We're not training, but I'm going to speak to you all. I want you all there. I'm the manager. I'm the boss. You're my team, and I want you all there because that is not acceptable.
100%.
And that's all I want the manager to say. The manager after the game to say
he
that
didn't,
is not
mate.
acceptable.
He didn't. He just was like, well, we watched the team, and that was frustrating. He didn't seem to have a clue, and that's where you start to think, But I do think he's got to be. We've got to give him the time because
he deserves time. And if we'd have closed our eyes and opened them on May the 22nd and saw ourselves in 8th place, we'd say, "Oh, bloody hell, that's good." But actually, sometimes it doesn't matter whether you're in 2nd or 22nd. If you produce displays like that, it just doesn't satisfy you. You go to football to watch a bit of excitement, to watch your team have a go, to show some passion, and gives you a bit of confidence that, yeah, man, this team's going in the right direction. So that was all missing yesterday. And
let's move on to something a bit more positive.
Yeah.
Your moment of the day. I'm sure I know what you're going to say.
Oh man, my moment of the day was actually obviously Samosa Saturday happened before the game against Brighton. The sun was shining. We were up at 5:15 in the morning frying samosas, and it was, to be fair, for the family, it's exciting, but it's always nervous. We're arriving there with 3,500 samosas, and we're thinking, I hope they all go. Now, we made 500 more than last time because we'd sold out by 2:30 last time. And guess what? By 2:30, we'd sold out again. They'd all gone. And I'm thinking, these greedy pigs, they just don't let these these fans are absolutely amazing. But the moment of the day was a woman in a wheelchair. She only had one leg. And she was with her son. She came up to me, gave me a hug. Didn't know her name, never met her before. And she goes, this £25 is for the samosas. This £40 is from my dad. This £40 is from me. And here's another £20 I'll give you if you take a selfie with me. She gave £100, £105, I think it was. And I'm just absolutely flabbergasted. And now I can't thank that person for what they do to help and support this cause. It's just absolutely amazing. As we was packing up, Dave, we took the tent down and everything. Sorry, we sold out. Another guy came with an envelope. He gave me a full envelope, and it was full of change. And he goes, what you do is fantastic. Here you go. And I opened it when I got home, and there was over £100 in notes and change.
It's like that chap, like at half time, I think it was half time in the thing. He came up to me and gave me an envelope, which I'll give you tomorrow when I see you. Obviously with quite a bit of money in there and a note, and obviously because he'd missed you and stuff like that, to pass it on to you as well. It's like, and I was like, wow, it's like amazing.
Dementia, it just shows you how many people are affected by the illness. In 2025, 1 million people. It doesn't get talked about. It needs awareness. It needs our concentration. There's so many fans who live with loved ones who are suffering. Well, again, Jason said suffering's actually the wrong word. With the condition, they've got the condition for dementia. They actually inspire us, those people do, because they go about their lives with something really serious and tragic. And if you think about what we're talking about, a game of football, in comparison, it's just a game. It's just us venting off a bit of frustration about 11 men kicking a bag of wind. In comparison, people who suffer with any sort of terminal illness, and that's why I love Jason. He raises funds for so many different charities as well.
He does a great job, man.
Critical illnesses, and we need more people. And the thing is, the Wolves fans in the middle of the pandemic, with high price rises, fuel prices, everything's going up. There's demands everywhere, bills through the roof. They still come out and they support. And this time, Dave, our Samosa Saturday record was 6,350, right? And we raised, and actually we had a bit more today. At the moment, it's at £7,072. So give yourselves a pat on the back, everybody,
Well done,
Wolves
everyone.
fans, everybody who's watching, everybody who's listening. Give yourselves a huge pat on the back, because this is done by the fans for the fans to help Dementia UK. Don't look at Manny. Manny doesn't actually exist. It's a mirage. This is just a card. This is just a cardboard cutout. This energy comes from the fans, and it's for the fans. I'm passionate about giving new people the chance to experience it. As Dave, you've helped me, but there's lots of kids we've got now who help and rattle buckets. We've got people, who fundraised and helped fundraising for the first time ever in their lives, and they've been inspired then to go and do their own thing, and that gives me a lot of joy to see that. Our family love getting involved, and they do a fantastic job. So that's a huge amount of money, and I can never ever.
There, look, 7K. Wow.
Yeah, I can never ever thank the fans of the club enough, because all the fundraising we do, 99.9% does come from the fans. I never ever go to my family or friends. I never actually go to them. I just go to the fans, because they just, when it comes to charity, when it comes to suffering, they've got a story to tell and they want to contribute. So Dave, we've just basically just about £1,000 short of £130,000 raised for Dementia UK over the last just out 3 years. So that's like nearly £45,000 a year. It's just, it blows my mind. It just really does. And I've still got to go to Dover, obviously.
Yeah,
Robert Fletcher. You know what? It's going to happen. If you ask somebody constantly, they will do it. So I will do it, Robert. You will get your samosas. The only person that didn't get a samosa was me. I didn't get one.
I had mine.
Yeah.
Actually, when I got to the ground, Emma and everyone, they got me. They obviously, because my mum and my dad, Emma and my father-in-law came and obviously donated and chipped in. But I had mine just before kickoff.
Yeah. Oh God. There's a couple, Kevin and his daughter Danielle, sit right in front of me, and they bought a big bag of samosas. And I told them I hadn't eaten anything yet, and they said, "Do you want a samosa?" We were 2-0 down. I said, "I tell you what, lob it at Bruno."
Well, mate, he did say. I mean, he did say. If anyone's watched my reaction as I was walking out, the one thing I did say, the only thing that we got 3 points today was the samosa.
The triangle.
Literally,
I said 3 goals, didn't I? I said 3 points, 3 points on the triangle, 3 goals today.
You were right, but you got the wrong colour.
But the thing is, that's what Samosa Saturday's about, giving. So we obviously gave the win to Brighton, didn't we? We donated a win to Brighton.
Well, there you go.
But no, fantastic, brilliant. Thank you very much. And keep supporting any charity, any person that does any work for any cause, support them and do your bit. And thank you very much. Yeah. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Manny, absolutely brilliant, mate. On behalf of all of us that help or
brilliant. I mean, I get so many people.
Thank you very much for doing what you do, mate. You're an inspiration to so many people, and you're a credit. So well done, mate. No problem. Thank you for having me again, and have a good evening. And we can't be any worse against Chelsea. I don't care. Well, I won't be giving you any charity on the tennis course tomorrow, mate, when I see you. No, obviously, yeah. No problem. Anyway, Netflix series. I don't watch TV. I've never done Line of Duty, Game of Thrones, Peaky. I've done nothing. I don't watch. Going out into society is the best program in the world. Helping people and joining with people and connecting. Nothing beats those series. So, the last thing I watched on TV, I don't know, was it? I used to like a bit of do you remember the Chips? Oh yeah. Yeah, you remember the 2 guys on the old motorbikes? American Cop series called Chips. Yeah. So there you go. I'm going back to the 80s. Going back, mate. I thought you might come up with Dynasty or Dallas or something like
Yeah,
that.
there you go. He's back in those eras. That's my era. I hardly watch TV. Yeah, so
You don't
anyway.
have time, mate.
Oh,
You're either at the temple, you're either doing some fundraising, you're working, or
Or Wolves.
or keeping fit, or doing Wolves. I was going to say it's hard to find the time. Anyway, mate, I'm going to move on. Absolutely brilliant.
Cheers.
We're already an hour into the show. Got loads of people to get on, and fantastic work. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll bring that.
Okay, mate. See you tomorrow.
Cheers.
Bye,
man.
everybody.
Bye. So that's Manny. We've absolutely fantastic show. We've still got so many people to come on. Josh, Speedy, Sam, Chris, Jack, and Liam. We're going to get Chris on and then Jack next after that. Because I think Chris is, I'm not sure if he's making his debut. I think Liam might be making his debut. Sam, I think he's coming on for his third one. Jack's a regular pundit, and so's Josh. And Speedy, well, we haven't had him on for ages, but we're going to go to Chris next, who's sporting the away top. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, man?
Now, are you somewhere else in the world?
Yeah, I'm in Thailand. It's 25 to 4 in the morning. I'm exhausted.
I know, because you sent us a message and you wanted to come on. You said you're going to stay up, whatever the time is to come on.
Yeah.
And we're talking to you now, and you're in a completely different time zone. It's like, what time is it here? It's like just gone past half past 9, and it's nearly 20 to 5 in the morning where you are.
20 to 4. 20 to 4.
20 to 4 in the morning. Which part of Thailand are you?
Just outside Bangkok. I work in Bangkok, although I'm working from home at the moment. But just kind of on the border of Bangkok.
I've been to Bangkok a few years ago. Yeah, I've been to Bangkok. Was there for a few days. I absolutely loved it. Went down to the old temple, the old town temple, the new and everything, and the multicolored cars, and them playing them keepy uppy thing that they do, and you've got like monks walking around with their mobile phones, and then one day I turned up and everyone was wearing yellow because the king, and it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I did. I'd definitely go back at some point. How long have you been over there?
Almost 30 years, actually, amazingly.
30 years. So how come you moved to there then? Was it for work, or you just ended up staying?
When I was 15, my parents moved here. My dad was moved here on business. I was still at school, obviously, in the UK, but I had to go into boarding school because they moved out here. And after I finished uni, I just loved Thailand so much. I just really wanted to come back. So I just came out here. Actually, I had a one-way ticket to Hong Kong.
I've been to Hong Kong as well on the same trip. Right. I did Hong Kong, yeah. It was for, for 40th. So I went to Hong Kong, Bali, and Bangkok. 18-day, 20-day tour it was.
Very nice. But anyway, I ended up getting a job in Bangkok and have been here ever since, amazingly. Love it.
Absolutely. So where does the love of Wolves come from?
Well, that's an interesting thing as well, because I'm from Chester originally, not Wolverhampton. Kind of a funny story. So Chester, but almost everybody from Chester supports Liverpool or Everton because it's not far from there. So when I was 3 years old, my parents, they had 3 boys, and they bought one of them a red hat because he was a Liverpool fan, one of them a blue hat because he was an Everton fan, and they said, which hat do you want? And there was a snazzy gold Wolves hat in the shop because my parents had moved. They were in the West Midlands for 3 years when I was 3 years old, and I said I'll have that hat. And I've been a Wolves fan ever since I was 3 years old.
Choice of hat.
Choice of hat. It was the colour. It was the colour that I loved. And funnily enough, a couple of years later, maybe when I was 5, my mum bought. She couldn't find a Wolves shirt in the shops, and she came home with a Leeds away shirt which was yellow, and she said, "Here you go. You can be a Leeds fan now." And I said,
I don't think so.
Wolves fan. Even when I was 5 years old, I'd already made my mind up. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And you follow from afar. So obviously during the days of the Championship and League One, it must have been very difficult to follow Wolves like you can now. Well,
you always used to subscribe to the Wolves play, so you could hear the commentary. So I don't know when that started, but certainly since the late 90s, I've been able to listen to the games. So in some ways, being out here, I've been able to listen and follow more than I could when I was in the UK, living in Chester, weirdly enough, at that time.
That's
Yeah,
an absolutely great story.
I watch every single game now. I haven't, well, maybe once in a while, I won't get up midweek to watch an FA Cup game or something because it's in the middle of the night, but I usually get up in the middle of the night to watch every game.
Do you know Brian?
I don't know Brian, no.
Brian, he's on the international fan. And he's not in Bangkok, he's a bit out in the sticks, but he's from Thailand. You should try and connect you two up at some point because he's such a lovely bloke. He gets back when he can, and he like you, he gets up in the middle of the night to watch the games and stuff like. So you'd have a lot in common with Brighton. How many Wolves fans do you know over in Thailand? I mean, there's a lot of Leicester fans, isn't there?
Well, since lockdown, I don't really meet anybody, but there used to be, I don't know if it's still there actually. There used to be a pub called the Crossbar. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but that was run by a guy called Brian, a different guy called Brian, who was from Wolverhampton, and all the staff in the bar had the Wolves crest on their shirts.
That's fantastic.
He was a massive Wolves fan, and yeah, so I used to go down there very occasionally, but there was always, I don't know, 10 Wolves fans watching games in there. That's
amazing. I mean, I think it's hardcore. It's great to give the international fans record because I know you can't go to the game, but you're still as committed by getting up in the middle of the night to watch it. And to be honest, mate, watching that performance yesterday, I bet you wish you'd have stayed in bed.
Oh no, it's terrible. I've been trying to figure out what it is. I think it's a mentality issue with the players at the moment. I think there's two factors to it. I think Neves' injury. When Neves' injury happened, we all thought, "Oh, that's it." Don't you agree? At that time, we all kind of thought, "Oh, that's it. That's the end of the season."
Yeah, and it was a bit of a loss, mate. To be fair,
there was that. Yeah, there was that, and also for weeks now, the fans have been thinking, "Oh, that's it. Our European chances are blown now." Week after week, and then the other teams seem to lose their games, and we're still back in with a chance. But it's week after week we've been thinking, "Oh, that's it." And I think subconsciously the players have that same feeling. They're thinking, that's it now, season's over. So it's hard to get up. I think for the start of the game, the first half wasn't terrible. The second half was absolutely terrible, but the first half wasn't so bad. They were still in it and they were still fighting away. And the crowd actually yesterday sounded brilliant watching on TV. I thought the crowd were really up for it.
I think the crowd gave up after about 70 minutes because when the third goal went in, Molineux emptied. It was... Yeah, it was every single stand. I mean, we were always stay to the end, no matter what. Never go early. But you can understand where people went. On 70 minutes, it was just like, forget this for a game of soldiers, and they've gone. And it emptied so fast. And you've probably seen some of the pictures on how empty Molineux was coming into the 80th minute, because people are just like, I've had enough of this. Well, we did stay. We saw Neto hit the post at the end. That was the closest we really got. What are you going to give it as a performance rating?
I'll give it a 2. I thought the first half I would have given a decent 5. Second half maybe a 1, but it doesn't work out as an average of 2. But I'll give it an overall 2.
I gave it a 2 as well on my match reaction. You probably watched that. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen my match vlog yet, but if anyone hasn't watched the match vlog, you might want to stop it halfway through. But there is some good stuff on the Samosa Saturday, so definitely worth checking out that. So if you haven't seen Samosa Saturday and you're watching it all around the world and stuff like that, watch my vlog because you will get to see some Samosa Saturday stuff on there as well. You're going to got a man of the match.
I know you got to move on just quickly. What I really agree with you on is Chiquinho. I can't say his name. Because what we're struggling with is creating chances. And the only people that seem to be doing it, okay, Podence is out at the moment. He can do it. It's Neto and Chiquinho. Whenever Chiquinho comes on, he's really hungry and positive and he knocks fantastic balls in. Why aren't we seeing him given a chance? Anyway, I
agree with Chiquinho. I'd like to see Chiquinho. I have, every time I've seen him, he's the one player that's you know, when he's come on now, Traore's gone, has got me off my feet. And I think he runs at players, and he is very, very positive. I know he's young and stuff, but like, you know, he's there, so we should use him. Your man of the match?
Split between Silva and Neto. I'll give it to Silva. I thought he did a pretty good job. He should never have been taken off.
I must admit, I was quite impressed with him again. He does some intelligent play. There's some passes that he played in the final third, which were great little passes that he saw, you know, that he was battling. It's just not happening for him, but then he's not really got the support. I thought Wang was AWOL again yesterday. I thought Fabio at the front too. That's why I was a bit surprised that Wang stayed on and Fabio went off, but it is what it is.
The commentators for the last several weeks on TV have been praising Fabio Silva's performances. So, yeah, he's doing a really good job at the moment. He's a bit unlucky. He hasn't had any really gilt-edged opportunities of scoring, maybe one or two in previous games. He didn't get any really good chances.
No, he didn't. He nearly got in at the end of the first half. And your moment of the game and your Netflix recommendations, if you've got any?
Moment of the game, I don't know. Nothing much to say. I think the missed penalty was probably the moment of the game, but it didn't really.
That was actually something we could cheer. So that's fair comment.
Yeah, we cheered that.
Recommendation to finish off on?
The only thing I watch on Netflix, I'm sure you probably watched it, is Afterlife. That's the only thing.
I've not watched that. No, Afterlife.
Oh, that's the best, man. That's a Ricky Gervais. It's brilliant. 3 seasons of it.
We'll put that on the list as well. Afterlife, mate. Is this your debut?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mate, thank you very much for watching my channel from afar. It means a lot. I really appreciate it and spreading the word.
Well,
and it's great.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for all you do, because I watch you. I've been subscribed for several years now, and really appreciate all you do, giving us some of that pre-match atmosphere before games where you can't be in Wolverhampton.
That's what we tried to achieve. Is try to give you the build-up, a fan's eye view of the game, and then obviously we've got we always try and get you the reaction. We've got the international fan thing, and the extra time is where you can come on and anyone can come on and talk, no matter where you are. You're like 3:45 in the morning in Thailand and you've stayed up. That's commitment, man. That is massive commitment. So thank you very much, and hopefully you'll come on again.
Yeah, well, I was able to this time because it's a long weekend, but very often it's not going to be possible with this.
And then you're at work. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. No, but it's good when you can, mate. Great. Just brilliant having you support the channel. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure having you on tonight, mate.
Thanks very much, Dave. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. So fantastic to have Chris from Thailand stayed on for the show. Just before we get on to our next guest, I do need to, I will get on Jack. I'm not going to leave Jack till last this time because he often that. But before we get on to talking to Jack, I just want to remind everyone that we've got a fantastic. No, forget that. Let me just take that off. There, this didn't quite work out. Well, I need to remember how to do. There we go. My slides. So if I put my slide up, has that worked now? There we go. So add this to the, see, I worked it out in the end, folks. So there is a currently online on Football Prizes, there is an option to win this Ruben Neves framed shirt from Football Prizes. I think there's 199 maximum entries. I think there's 133 already in. And it's a new feature. They've got 8 instant wins. So basically, you pick your number, and if one of those numbers comes up, there are 8 other Wolves prizes that you can win instantly. So the link is in the description below. Get yourself on that from Football Prizes, and that's not another nice prize from Football Prizes. Jack, you said you're not feeling too good today. What's up, mate?
I think it's Mick Crone's playing up a little bit. We were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? It kind of comes and goes, doesn't it? I think today's not a good day, but it's one of them, isn't it? So we'll just keep going, keep fighting.
Well, mate, yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, and I'm sorry about the spam that we've just had on the site there. I've just had a little bit of spam. Let me just change my settings on the extra time show in terms. Yeah, it's got taken off. It's all right. I'll just. It's okay. I'm just changing the settings so that only subscribers can comment. I normally do that. So I do apologise that, and I'm also going to put the slow mode on. This is why I do these things to stop it. I didn't do it today, so apologies for the spam on the on there. Do apologise everybody for that. Crikey, it's like mad. Anyway, ignore all of that. Jack, I'm sorry that you're not feeling too good. And and you've stayed up, to comment again today. I mean, we saw you before the game, obviously over at Samosa Saturday by the Samosa store. I mean, what are you feeling a day on?
Bitterly upset about that performance. I mean, I was saying to my friend earlier on the phone, I'm a Wolves fan. I'm used to losing, and you know what? I'm used to us losing 3-0. I've seen us lose 3-0 lots and lots of times, but not like that. That was unacceptable. When you've got when Brighton's second and third goal goes in, we've got players walking back towards our own box, walking, not even jogging, never mind sprinting, walking. That's not acceptable.
What player are you referring to there, or players?
There were multiple players. I think the second goal is Trossard scores, doesn't he? The nearest player to him is Moutinho, and I don't think it's Moutinho's man. I think there's three centre halves. There's another midfielder. There's wing backs that could have got to him as well. There was no shape, no organisation, no leadership. No one took responsibility. If you're not interested, then there's a serious problem, isn't there? Because there's 30,000 people that have turned up to watch you. They're interested in you performing, and they're interested in seeing what you can do. And it felt to me like the players just weren't interested yesterday. There was a lack of heart. There was a lack of desire. Like you've said, and like other guests have touched on, it felt once we went 1-0 down, that was it, because we know we've got issues scoring goals. But even at 2-0 down, you could see, you wanted to see something, didn't you? Well, let's have a shot. I'm even talking, something as daft as someone going and winning a 50-50 and just getting the crowd up and something just to rouse everyone. It just didn't happen. There was just nothing there to about or to hang your hat on and say, you know what, that was a good thing. It just felt, all game just felt so dreary. And we've talked, haven't we, me and you and other guests have been on and said, 8th is still a really good season for us, but I just don't want it to fizzle out towards the end. Well, I think we've passed that now. I think it's more than fizzled out now. I think we're. I know you said on the beach earlier, and whether it's a tired cliche, I don't know, but I think it rings true, doesn't it? I think the players have sort of given...
I'm not buying into this constantly that some of them are now in Dubai and in New York. It's like if we're winning games and we're playing well and then okay. But how are they allowed to get on a plane and go to Dubai and New York and places like this after a performance like that? They've just been away like twice recently. I know that they're footballers and they're on a lot all the time, but they're paid a hell of a lot of money, and now you got some that are in Dubai and New York and stuff like that flying off. It's like it's not working, these breaks, giving them the breaks to have the downtime and saying, look, we'll let you have some time off, chill down, break. That's great. Come back, have the energy and the fight and put in the performance. And it's not happened. And that's what's really vexing me at the moment. It's like that they're off doing that because they can afford to do it and it's great. But the performances on the pitch are like they're on the beach. And it riles me, that does. Sorry to say. Maybe I'm being too mean about that, but I don't know what everyone else thinks. But
no, I'm totally with you on that. I think if it was me, if I was Bruno Lage, I'd have gone in that dressing room after full time yesterday and said, holidays are cancelled. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, you're on the training ground. Because ultimately you know, if you're turning in performances like that, and let's face it, it's a non-performance, isn't it? You know, there was nothing there to get excited about, or, you know, they've got to put it right before you go on holiday and do all this, that, and the other. You've got to put it right. If
This
nothing...
is the business end of the season. This is the business end of the season. You know, we've got an opportunity to have got 7th or 6th or, and even higher. And it's the business end of the season, and they're flying off to Dubai and New York and wherever. You know, the focus should be completely on let's get the task in hand done. The season's only got like three weeks to go, and then they're, you know, why are they going off? Mate, it's, you know, I don't like it's. I don't like it. I don't like it. I can understand having breaks when they've had a hard season and they've not had a break. I can understand in the international break that the players that have not gone on international duty have had some time off. I can understand that they've given some of the international players a little bit of time when the Man City game was pulled off. But, like, we've just lost 3-0 at home to Brighton and they're off and they're not back in training till Wednesday. It's like, what? That you should be back in today. It's like, sorry, you're not going on holiday, like, because you need to focus and you need to put the work in. You need to get back in on this. And if it's just reward, and if you're rewarding that sort of performance with well, you can go on, then the heart's not in it. And it didn't seem to me. And it's hard for me to say this for a Wolves team in the recent times, you know, but the heart didn't seem in it. I thought Fabio's heart was in it. I thought he gave everything. I thought Pedro Neto in the last 5 or 10 minutes was trying to make something happen. Moutinho, like you said, was back defending. He's 30-something odd and he was showing. But, like, there was Saiss, he ain't been right since AFCON. Johnny, whether there's something gone on or not, I don't know, was not tracking back. You know, Bolly has just come back in the side. He had a bad game. Then Donker was AWOL. Wang was AWOL. You know, Raul, when he came on, didn't really do anything. It's like you could go across the team in terms of the performance rating. I thought, you know, Connor always gives it. You know, you can't ever really fault the captain. He will always. He was trying to G him up. You could see him, but it wasn't happening. And it's like, what is causing that? Why is that? Why is it happening? Why are we playing like this when we've got something to play for? Yeah, I could expect it from Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be fair, we probably need to point out Brighton were really, really good. They were very, very well coached. Everyone on the pitch kind of knew their role. I thought the left back, Cucurella, very, very good player. You know, never wasted a pass, never wasted a run. You know, Trossard's always lively, isn't he? So they were really, really good. But I don't think they needed to be very good to beat us yesterday. I think they probably didn't get out of second gear, did they? But I mean, I think there's a bigger issue at play, isn't there? And I know it's kind of, I haven't really followed much reaction on social media, etc. But I know kind of the spotlight's been turned on Bruno, hasn't it? And people are saying, is he the right man, etc. Now, for me, Fosun and Jeff Shee, Scott Sellers, whoever it is who makes that decision, needs to sit down and really, really think about this. Because if they are 100% behind Bruno Lage, then I accept that. And they've got to back him 100% in the summer. If he says, I want to get rid of this player, this player, this player, this player, this player, and this player, and sign this player, you know, let him do it and let him rebuild the team how he wants. And then you can judge him. If they've got any tiny doubts at all, we're 99% sure, you've got to move him on and you've got to get someone in that you are 100% committed to. Because that's all we want.
Maybe they'll go back to plan A and get Lopetegui in.
Well, anyone, isn't it, really? I mean, that's what we're talking about. We want, you know, as owners, we want them to have a clear direction. And if they're now sitting, 9 months into Bruno's reign and thinking, oh, I'm not sure, because I think a lot of fans are feeling like that as well, aren't they now? You know, there's a lot of goodwill towards him. A lot of people understand it's not his team fully. You know, He's very experienced and naive at Premier League level. He's going to make mistakes. He's made a lot of mistakes, you know. Probably too many, if you're being really honest. There's been a lot of performances where we've probably not turned up, and that's not acceptable. But, you know, if there's any doubts at all, then you'd need to change it. because you can't go into another season next year.
What would you do, Jack, if you were the chairman?
Listen, I would keep Bruno. I'd stick with him, and I'd fund his rebuild completely. And I'll tell you why, because I think now the dressing room has gone stale. Now, I did a little bit of working out earlier while I was waiting to come on. We had 14 players on the pitch yesterday, to the 11 starters and 3 subs. 2 of them joined this year. 3 joined last year. I think 1 joined the year before. And then everyone else has been at the club at least 4 years. Some of them have been there 5, 6, 7 years. Now, the balance for me is wrong there. You should have maybe 2 or 3 players that you've had for a long, long time and are kind of the cornerstone of your team. You know, someone like Neves, what a player, fantastic. Not a problem with him being here for 6, 7 years. We're probably quite lucky that he's stayed as long as he has. Cody's the same. He's the leader. He's been there a long time. But you need to constantly refresh your squad every transfer window. Even if you bring in 1 player, 2 players every transfer window, that means over the course of 4 transfer windows, so 2 seasons, that's 8 players that are into your team and are new, and they're changing the dynamic of the dressing room. They're challenging the players that are there. They're giving the manager new options, and it's just not happening. The balance is completely wrong. And it also flies completely in the face with what Fosun have said. They've come out and actually said, haven't they, we're going to have a sell to buy model. We sign a player, we coach him, we develop him, we improve him, we sell him on for profit. We use that to refund the team. So how does that work when you've got players that have been here for 5, 6, 7 years? Is it that actually they're not that good and no one wants to sign them and move them on? That would be my concern. You know, people like, we've talked about Dendoncker a lot, haven't we? And, you know, I mean, if Dendoncker was put on the transfer list tomorrow, there won't be a queue of clubs trying to sign him, would there? And you could say, and that's not just him, there's other players you could say the same for. You know, I mean, Sace is out of contract. Would you offer him a new contract? Probably not, because I think he's one that probably needs to move on for his own sake, you know, for a fresh challenge, a new start, whatever it's going to be. We need to keep refreshing and evolving the squad, because otherwise you get into this position there where, you know, the same voices in the changing room all the time. No one's being pushed. No one's being challenged. They've changed the manager last summer. So they said, right, Nuno, he's done 4 years for us, unbelievable, but we need a new idea. We need someone to come in. And that's Bruno, isn't it? And if you start changing the manager again, then you don't solve the problem, because a new manager's got to come in, win over the dressing room, work with that same group of players, because it's quite often when they change a manager, the plan is, isn't it? Well, he'll get something different out of this group. So therefore, we don't need to invest massively. That was the problem we probably had in hindsight last summer when Bruno came in. Everyone said, well, you don't need to sign new players because Bruno's going to get a new tune out of some of them. And he has, to be fair, in some cases. Some players are a lot better this year than they were last year. But when you change the manager, that then sometimes becomes a bit of a cop-out for investment. And you say, well, you know, just keep changing the manager every year, like some clubs do every couple of years. And then the same players can have different managers, different impacts, etc. And you don't need to move them on so much. Whereas for me personally, I think it'd be the other way around. I would say, right, this is our manager and we've got a long-term project here. He's going to be here for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And we're going to change the squad, 2 or 3 players every window. And so eventually in 18 months, 2 years time, that group of players are all his. He's identified them, scouted them, watched them, brought them in, coached them. They play how he wants to play. And then you can kind of go from there. It's very, very difficult to judge Bruno Lage in full at the minute, because he's just not had that opportunity to be backed. And we're not talking hundreds and hundreds of millions. You know, we're not going to do an Everton or an Aston Villa and just throw money at things and hope enough of it sticks.
Well, Villa got their money from the sale of Jack Grealish, 100 million, didn't they?
They did, but they invested pretty much all of it back into 2 or 3 players, didn't they? And you speak to some of the Villa fans that they're not overly keen on, particularly Leon Bailey and Wendy has been in at the team, and Ings doesn't seem to quite fit how they play. So you'd say actually what is they've not invested it properly, which is always the danger, isn't it? And with a club like Wolves, if we had £1 million to spend and we didn't invest it wisely, we'd plummet down the table.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen a lot of examples of that. I mean, you know, Everton, I mean, Newcastle, you know, have got money now, but again, you don't know how that's going to work. You've got to have the manager that's going to make the players tick. It doesn't matter if you've got expensive players if they don't play as a team. You know, Wolves have had this good team ethic, and Fosun have got most things right up until this point, but it's come to a point now with the Wolves fans. There's a lot of goodwill out there for Bruno. You know, we go back 8th start season, happy days. The frustrating thing is we've got ourselves into position and then we've just collapsed. We haven't been able to have the killer instinct. And Fosun, it frustrates me that Adama Traore is on loan at Barcelona. You know, he's hardly getting any game time, and apparently we're paying for him to play for them. And then they want to keep him on loan for the season. It's like, why isn't he staying in our squad and giving us an option? If Adama Traore was still at Wolves now, I think we'd have more points on the board. You know, for whatever, because we've got an option. He wanted to go, and that deal, it looks as, I mean, it's looking to me like they're not going to want to buy him. And then we've got Trincao as well, and there's a lot, you know, Martinez's contract extends. What's happening with Neves? You know, the extension and stuff, and there's so much uncertainty, and maybe that's filtering into the squad as well. Bruno Lage, they went out and got him, so it's come to the point now where Wolves fans have been fairly understanding and patient. There's been a few, you know, let's face it, they didn't do a lot in January, but we had a fantastic January. Had we been playing like this in January, with these sort of results in January, the backlash against the board would have been incredibly bad because of the investment into the squad. They got away with it because we were getting... Everyone was happy because we were winning. It's like, okay, fine. But now we're at the point where we've hit this sticky patch. We're coming up to the end of the season. We've got Norwich at home, who are relegated, who we didn't beat at the FA Cup, another missed opportunity to progress in that. And then we've got Chelsea, City and Liverpool. So, like, it's no guarantee we're going to even score another goal or get a point because, like, even playing Norwich at home, the way we're playing, you wonder whether we can win that game. But the summer is the point where the fans will judge the board. The fans will judge the ownership on what happens this summer. The patience and the understanding has got to a point now where everyone can say this summer is pivotal. It is 100% pivotal. And if they do not show the ambition, they do not back Bruno Lage if they're keeping him and bring in the players to refresh and re-energise this squad and give him what he needs to do, because you can only really judge Bruno Lage once he's been able to bring in the players that he wants to fit the system that he wants to play. Then you judge the manager as such. And if they don't invest, then things could turn very, very quickly. For the worse in terms of the fan base getting on the back, and we could get into this spiral again. So they've got to show the ambition. They've said they want us to be in Europe every year. They want us to be one of the biggest teams in Europe. We want to be challenging to win trophies and titles and all of that. Well, now's the time to show your money. No excuse for the pandemic. The memberships have gone up by 15%. We're waiting on the season ticket to come out. You know, are they going to be frozen? Are they going to go up? If they do go up, it's a difficult climate for people. I know that Wolves have got extra expenses because of different things as well, but people are going to be expected to pay that money. And if they do, they're going to expect them to invest in the squad. So I think it's pivotal, Jack.
No, I really do. And I agree with everything you've just said. I think this summer is probably the biggest one of Fosun's time at Wolves, because We've got to a point now where we're comfortable, aren't we? You know, barring something disastrous, we're not going to get sucked into a relegation battle. We look quite a way off the top teams, don't we? Particularly the top six. You know, I know we've been on their coattails most of the season, but as people have said today, it's probably a bit of a flattering league position, isn't it? 8th, when you consider the lack of goals and the lack of creativity. But yeah, I mean, it's just, and I think what we've got to try and remember and try and rationalise is that nobody's moaning because we're 8th in the table. Nobody is. What we're moaning and we're frustrated about and we're ranting about is because it could have been better, and it's through our own fault that it's not. You know, you look at the league, like we've just said, the league table. Manchester United have had a horrendous season by their standards. They've had
6.
Yeah, West Ham have obviously gone on really poor form recently while they've been distracted by Europe. Leicester have been really ropey for most of the season. Some of those big hitters we were talking about, the Evertons, the Aston Villas, have underachieved. So there's a real opportunity this season for a team like ourselves, if everything kind of went smoothly and we did what we needed to do and we were professional, we were switched on, we got the mentality right to really have a go at that top 6. And we've fallen short. I mean, for me, I've said all along, Evan, I think we'll finish 7th. I think that's gone now because I just think the fixtures we've got left.
I can't see it. I said it as well. Jack, we've got so many waiting. Give us your moment of the match, your man of the match, your performance rating, and then some tips. Any series that you suggest for Netflix?
Okay. Moment of the match got to be Samosa Saturday. Fantastic call. And everyone that's involved in that, you know, I'll take my hat off to them. What a wonderful thing that they do. Performance rating, 0.5. I think honestly, it was the worst we've had.
I gave it 2.
Yeah, I think you're being kind. I think you are being kind, giving it a 2. Man of the match, I'm not going to give one. I just don't think anyone particularly stood out or could come off the pitch and say, I did my bit and everyone else let us down. It was a collective lack of bottle, lack of heart, whatever it was. So I can't in all fairness give a man of the match. Netflix, have you watched The Last Dance, the documentary about the Chicago Bulls?
Oh yes, I've watched that, I think.
Yeah, that's fun. If anyone else
Michael Jordan, their big era and stuff. Yeah, that's good, that is, yeah.
And there's a bit of a hidden one. There's like a drama series called The English Game. It's like about how
the football.
How the FA.
I watched that as well.
Yeah. That's another good one to watch if people are interested.
The start of the English football thing and how it got started and everything. And it's kind of like the upper classes and then the lower classes teams and stuff. That was quite good as well. I watched that as well. Yeah. I watch a lot of stuff on Netflix, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
But those are good for anyone watching.
Absolutely. If you've not seen them, get on those and have a look. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah.
Fantastic, Jack, and I hope you're feeling a bit better. And it's not started, and we're only talking about it yesterday. You said you hadn't had a flare up in ages, so I hope you're on top of it and you'll be all right.
Yeah, should be fine. Thanks, everyone.
All right,
cheers.
Top man.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that's Jack. We've still got to get on Sam, Liam, Speedy, and next up, Josh. Hello, Josh.
All right, Dave.
Thank you to everyone in the green room that's waiting really, really patiently. I'm really going to be interested to see what Speedy, Liam, and Sam always calls no punches when he comes on. So I might get Sam on last because it might be late night viewing after the. It might be after the what did they used to call it after the
watershed.
Yeah, mate, you went yesterday.
Yeah,
you know,
just lackluster, no ambition from the players, no fight, no gut, no determination. They just looked spent. There was nothing there.
Absolutely spent. I used words after on my, I don't know if you've watched the instant reaction. It's had nearly 5,000 views, that has. Like awful, abysmal, terrible, abject, all of those words. And you don't want to say those watching a Wolves team. You know, I came out. You know the old thing when you say, "I'm not angry, I'm disappointed."
Yeah,
I felt a little bit like I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. When you hear someone say that, it's like I'd rather you be angry.
Yeah,
because when you're disappointed, it's kind of like it's like powder puff was another word I used.
Yeah,
it's like the powder puff girls would have had more about them than us. To be fair.
It's just like you said, disappointing. Like the amount of people that were I think the ground was literally a third full on 79 minutes.
And that was every stand.
Yeah,
every stand. I can picture our little bit in the North Bank. I can see where we were. We did stay to the end, but you can totally understand why people walked out, especially when the third goal went in. It because it wasn't just that the third goal went in. There was no hope of us coming back. No hope at all. It was just like sod this for a game of soldiers. I'm going home. You can understand it. Now I always often wonder why people leave the game early when it's 5 or 10 minutes early when it's 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-1 and the game's ebbing and flowing. I never get that. It's because there's a lot of excitement, but you can understand it yesterday. It was like, why stay? You know what was going to happen for the rest of the game. Yeah, you know that there's no chance of us, you can understand it. They're given the team seemed to have given up, so the fans gave up and went home.
Yeah,
The team. I don't think the team came out from home other than the first 5 or 10 minutes.
it was that no one seemed to, even up top. It was just, we got up the top, and I know in the past, me and my brother said the amount of people that moan that we suddenly turn back. And when that's happened in the past, you can usually see it's because they've got no one else in front of them. But yesterday, there was no one even getting up front at all. It was terrible.
And everyone could see it, mate. Everyone could see it. What do you make of this? Let's fly off to Dubai and New York malarkey.
I have been doing some digging because I saw that comment come up, and I have flicked through literally all the players' Instagrams, and there's nothing.
Someone said they're in Dubai and there's someone in New York, so I don't know.
But it wouldn't surprise you. It wouldn't surprise you that they've gone and they've kept it stum because they know the reaction they'll get.
And obviously, there's journalists saying that there's been a bust up at the training ground as well.
My brother showed me that last night. He showed me the tweet, and I said, "Is that credible?" And he said, "To be fair, it's Ryan Lester, is it?"
Ryan Lester, yeah.
And my brother said, usually with the sources he's got, he usually gets everything spot on.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something not right. I put on my my match vlog, cracks starting to appear. There seems to be cracks starting to appear. Maybe they'll disappear really, really quickly. I mean, I'm looking at the next few fixtures, and even I can't see where at this point where we're going to get the next goal or the next point.
I've said this myself. I can't see where it's going to come from.
But
Chelsea have lost to Everton today. That's next week out the window.
Yeah, you say that, but this is Wolves. It wouldn't surprise. It would not surprise me in the absolute least that we'll play. I said, do you know what? I said it as a joke that we'll lose to Brighton and Norwich and beat and get results out of Chelsea, City, and Liverpool, and it would be so Wolves because they raise the game when we play.
The bigger team.
When we play like a better team, we seem to, and they play more. We play better. Yeah. But we saw even back in the Nuno days when we played Huddersfield, and they only won 3 games all season, and the 2 were against us.
Yeah,
and we've seen it. Someone gave a stat earlier that was Carl, I think, said aside from Everton, we've taken 1 point out the bottom 3, bottom 4. It's like, if we'd have taken what we should have done out of the bottom few points, then where would we be? It's frustrating. I mean, Leeds 2-0 up. That's where it went wrong for me.
Yeah,
not necessarily the Arsenal game, although. That was coming. I thought we were unlucky not to get a point. But the Leeds game is where it started to fall apart. They go, Leeds are falling apart. They have that song. It's like that's us. 2-0 up, coasting. Raul goes in for that challenge. He gets sent off. We then Keystone Cop defenders. We lose the game. And it's like that is like a Tyson Fury uppercut that we're still kind of dazed from.
The legs have stopped moving. Yeah.
Tyson Fury uppercut, bang on the ropes, and we haven't recovered, have we, from there? Not really. Not really at all. Anyway, I also just want to hear your moment of the day.
To be fair, I probably would say it was Samosa Saturday, because when I walked up, that's how I come. My mum dropped me off at the top of the ring road by the uni building, and I walked down the front down to the subway because my dad and my uncle were down by the steeple because my uncle was walking, so they dropped him off down to the lower steeple, and I went and got the samosas for him, and it was Paul.
But Paul, he's roaming around.
Yeah, he said straight away, he said, delivered to your house during lockdown, didn't we? I said, yeah, he did, and the girls did. And photos and that, so it was nice for Paul to remember.
Brilliant family they are. It's such a lovely family. I'm going to, funnily enough, going to Chelsea. I'm driving, and because we've been like the London game's been going with them. Yeah. It's been something that we started doing, and his dad, and going to the picking them up to go to the Chelsea game on the way down. So we've got our tickets for Chelsea, but they are such a lovely family, and he's such a top bloke. Really is. He's just normally on, but he's not on tonight. So Samosa Saturday, your man of the match. Can you pick one?
I thought about this the first half. I thought, who am I going to give man of the match? Because even when we gone 1-0 down, so I thought 1-0 down, that's it. Because my brother said the same. We go 1-0 down, you can't see us coming back. And I was sitting the first half thinking, who's going to be man of the match here? And I was thinking Zhao, but then I look back at it now. It is really hard to pick. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say Jose, because there was some more saves he made where it could have been 4 or 5.
Fair comment, to be honest. Yeah, Jose Sar's a good one. And your performance rating?
2, if I have to give it.
I gave it a 2.
It was,
to be fair, I think that's, you can't really give it much more than that. And I'm like, I've given a 10 this year with the United away performance. I think I gave a 10. So I always try. So I just couldn't quite give it to myself to give a 1. Manny gave it a 0, which was like fair enough. And I've given it a 2. And your Netflix recommendation?
So Jack's already said the one I was going to suggest, The Last Dance.
All right,
if you like your sports sort of stuff, and it got me back into watching it. To be fair, Drive to Survive, the F1
Drive to Survive.
Yeah, the Formula One Fly on the Wall documentary.
Oh right, okay.
And they've done.
Which season's that?
They're on season 4 now, which was last year's season. Essentially,
is it good?
Yeah, I'm halfway through watching that one, but the previous 3 have got me right back into it. So I used to watch it in like the Schumacher and Barrichello days at Ferrari when I was in primary school, and then I went off it, and then started through lockdown just flicking through different series and thought, oh, Drive to Survive, see what this is. And I know some people, like some F1 diehards, moan about it, that it's a bit too dramatised and stuff, but it's got me back into the sport. It really has.
So Drive to Survive, absolutely fantastic, mate. And should just say, I mean, most people won't know when I mention this name who he is, but to me and you will know who I'm going to talk about. Robbie Bolton, who passed away. If you don't know, myself and Josh, we both have been involved with marching bands for a long time. You know, getting kids off the street, learning them to play an instrument and stuff like that. And Robbie Bolton is someone that was in the Boys Brigade. It goes back years and years that we know. Lovely bloke. And I couldn't believe when I've heard that he's passed away.
I say, funny enough, it was when we were at Boys Brigade on Thursday, and we have got like a group chat, and it come up on there. Then I was like, surely not. And the person who put it on.
How old was he?
He was in his 70s. He was in his 70s.
Was it sudden illness or something?
From what I've heard, it was he complained about like a chest issue, and his neighbour said, we'll take you down the doctors the next morning. And he was having some work done on his house, and then next morning, apparently the workers have said to the neighbours, he comes out every morning and talks. Never come out. Tried ringing him, no answer. Neighbours come in and then found him.
Was it a heart attack?
That's I think so. They just found him in his bed, and it was a bit of a shock.
It's very sad. He was such a lovely bloke, and he did so much for young people and stuff like that. So I know he helped out at Lanesfield as well, didn't he? In recent years.
My brother helps out majority of the time with the band now.
Yeah,
and he said Rob was always there, half an hour early, setting everything up for the kids. And he had the band and the Boys Brigade at heart, because he was Boys Brigade president as well for the West Midlands, Wolverhampton district.
I know, mate. Sad. Such a lovely bloke, and always had time. So I'm really sad. I know most of the guys here won't know who Robbie is, but me and you, we do know him. He's a legend in the, and he will be sadly missed. And Josh, thanks ever so much for coming on. Much appreciated. And hopefully next week we'll at least be able to talk about a better performance, even if we don't get any results.
I say the only thing is I'm not going to Chelsea now.
Oh right, okay.
When they stopped selling the tickets, I ended up booking on a golf weekend down in Devon with my mates, and then
you probably made the right choice. Oh, by the way, you're talking about golf, guys. Check out, if you've not watched it, go on my vlogs. Make sure you watch my golfing vlog that I've done. Because I've got the British Masters got in touch with me, Betfred British Masters, and I went down and had some photo shoots and went having some golfing lessons on the driving range. And this driving range has got 10 cameras and it tracks where your ball going. And then we went on to the 18th hole of the Brabazon, which is where the British Masters Golf and the Ryder Cup, and they put the flag in where it will be on the 4th day. It's the same place it was in the 1985 Ryder Cup when Sam Torrance put in a 22-foot putt to win back the Ryder Cup for Europe for the first time in something like 30 years. And I was up against a blues YouTuber and a Villa YouTuber, great lads. And you need to watch how I got in. And I put something on social today about I put this putt. I couldn't believe it, mate.
It's a brilliant. I couldn't even do that.
Have you seen it?
I watched it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought the whole video was brilliant. The way they took you through everything on Top Tracer.
It was fantastic. So if you haven't watched it in the chat or thing, you get on, watch the golf video because it is brilliant. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully it's entertaining. And if you did fancy going to the Masters, because like they've even given us a link so you get 15% off. There's only limited tickets on that because but it's at the Belfry. So if you fancy it, get on that before it's too late. But definitely watch the video. So fantastic. So I just had to say, as you mentioned, the golf. Enjoy your weekend. If you're a golfer, mate, you've got to be impressed with my putt.
Oh, it'd be brilliant, unbelievable.
I know, I can't believe it. One of my greatest sporting moments, that is. Anyway, Josh, all the best, pal.
Brilliant, Dave. Cheers, thanks.
Cheers, bye. So just 3 to go, and we've got Speedy, Liam, and then we've got Sam, who's in. He's actually outside of Molyneux as we speak, waiting to speak to Bruno Lage, I think. But we're going to bring on a young man that we've not seen for a very long while, which I'm very surprised why we've not had him on. But he's back tonight, and everyone will be happy to see you. Hello, Speedy.
Hello, you're right.
Thank you for waiting so patiently backstage in the green room. We haven't seen you for ages.
I know. Sorry.
Andrew said you used to drive for that putt. It wasn't a driver. It was a putt. It wasn't a driver, Andrew. It was a proper putting thing. They've just moved on a few years, probably. The technology. It was what I was given for the putt. It was a putter. Sorry about that. Right. So how come we've not had you on for such a long time?
Obviously, I know my mum's situation.
And how is your mum?
She's all right. She's had a lot of treatment. The reason I'm not been on is obviously with mindset, obviously because of what she's going through. I wanted to be in an okay mindset to talk about stuff. So I do apologise.
Well, we should say that your mum's been suffering from breast cancer, hasn't she?
Yeah,
She's been having a lot of treatment. Your mum's lovely. And she's in treatment's been going well.
Yes, and so you're lovely as well, by the way.
I appreciate it. And you've got a dog called Cody.
Yeah, and also another dog that might be on its way as well, so to add to the family.
Oh, right. I'll be interested in seeing what you're going to call him. Maybe it'll be Dazzle or something like that.
Or Magic.
Oh, Magic, yeah.
He's a lovely bloke.
My dad would love that. So, Speedy, let's talk about the game. I'm sure you've got a few stats that you want to reel off.
Yeah, I hope you're not annoyed with me, but I've not been to Molyneux. I've been looking after the dog. My mum has, though. My mum's back at Molyneux.
No, mate, not at all, of course. This is available for everyone, whether you watch the game on TV, listen to it on the radio, go to the match, whatever. You're all fans in your own route. You get there when you can. It's expensive business, so this is just for everyone to be able to put their thoughts. So crack on, Speedy. Crack on.
Just before I start the stats, I've watched all your extra times. I absolutely adore it. It's like TalkSport, but obviously you're a better presenter. Anyway, to the stats.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for letting me on.
I need to have me on TalkSport then.
I know, you'd be brilliant.
You'd have to write to him, Speedy, for me.
I will do. I'll see what I can do. Obviously, my mum will help as well, and Cody. The dog. Well, I don't know about Connor Cody. He might be busy.
The dog will.
Well, yeah, he's busy bloke. Obviously, the game was 3-0, which is very unfortunate. Shots, Wolves had 11. Obviously, unfortunately, 1 on target. Brighton had 17 shots on target, 9. There was 2 yellow cards for Wolves, 1 yellow card for Brighton. Possession 49% to Wolves and 51% to Brighton. There were 7 corners and for Wolves and 3 corners for Brighton. I know things at the moment aren't positive on the field. Jose Sá has made 116 saves this season, and he's 5th in the goalkeepers league. And the defence has been very good, and they've only conceded 32 goals. I've got some more, if that's okay. Thank you very much. If that's all right, sorry.
Yeah, crack on, Speedy. It's brilliant to have you with your stats. We've missed these.
Thank you. Obviously, the top scorer is Raul Jimenez with 6 goals. Assist, Daniel Podence with 3. Jose Sá's got 11 clean sheets, which is very good. Unfortunately, they've only scored 33 goals, but they are 8th, which is brilliant. Wolves are in a stat which is not very good, but I would like to put it out if that's okay. 38 goals were conceded in a season. I can't remember which season it was, but obviously they've only conceded 32, sorry. But obviously, the stat this season is a lot better than 38, which is, well, in the records chart. They've had 357 shots as well. And that's it for the stats.
Those are fantastic stats. It's brilliant. It gives everyone a real insight as well, Speedy. And you've obviously done a lot of research, which I really, really appreciate. So onto the game. Obviously, you've watched things back and stuff like that. I mean, what would be your moment of the game? Can you or of the day? Let's moment of the day. Or what would you pick out?
Moment of the day isn't actually Wolves. It's my mum going back to football after a traumatic, a lot of time out. If that's all right with yourself.
Well, Jason, who was on before, Jason Guy, he does a lot of work for charity to raise money for breast cancer, because he did lose his first wife to, I believe, to breast cancer, and it's something very, very close to his heart. And I know that your mom's a member here as well, and we do love her to bits. And it's really good to hear that she's in a good, she's in a lot better place at the moment. And I know that it's been tough for you because you were on really, really regular, and she had to step away to get better. And you say she was back at the game yesterday.
She was back at the game yesterday in the Steve Bull. She was actually quite frightened because it's quite warm and the W comes up the thigh, that she might get burnt, but I think she did. She did say that was her words, not mine, but I thought I'd like to put that out if that's okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. And I'm just sad that obviously the performance wasn't as great. As I was walking out yesterday, if you watched my match vlog, but someone...
I always do, Dave.
You did, yeah. Some chap, I think called Andy, I think he was. As I was walking out with my dad, I was doing my summary, came up and went, "Here, Dave, here's a New York Wolves badge." And he travelled all the way over from New York.
I know.
That
That's
pile of poo, he said.
Brilliant.
By the way, Speedy, Jason's still watching, and he says in the pundits chat, he says, "Good news about your mom." That's why we do what we do.
He's a legend, by the way, and he's absolutely brilliant at what he does. He should be proud of himself.
Yeah,
and yourself as well. You're brilliant at what you do. Oh, I watched your golf vlog, and I don't think it was a fluke. I think you just you took your time and you composed yourself, and it was a very good shot. So well done.
Thank you very, very much, mate. And what are you going to give us your performance rating?
My mum did say a 4, so I would have to agree with that. Even though some fans might think it's generous, but she said a 4. I've got some other notes for you.
Great.
No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Oh no.
You've done proper preparation.
Yes. Do you like crime? I don't mean do you like crime as in you commit murder or whatever. I mean, do you like watching stuff like that?
Yes, mate. I do.
Do you know the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe?
Yeah.
I don't think you know him.
I don't know him personally, but I know who he is.
I wouldn't want to know him. I wouldn't want to know him. The Ripper. The Ripper's on Netflix.
This is why we've missed you, Speedy.
The Ripper's on Netflix. Also, Chris, who's a lovely gentleman, like every other pundit on here, mentioned Afterlife, and obviously it's a comedy, but also it raises awareness for cancer, which is obviously very good. Yeah. Also on there is Benidorm, which I really like, and I think it's an 80s or 90s program that you can download, called Bottom with Rick Mail and Ed Edmondson. They're so funny. It's brilliant.
Yeah, Rick Mail. He's a comedy genius as well.
Also, favorite TV program, because I've properly prepared for this. Coronation Street is. I have to watch that every single day. I absolutely adore it. And also the Great British Bake Off. I love that as well.
Oh, the Bake Off. I do like the Bake Off.
I love that. It's great, isn't it?
Emma's quite good at baking.
Oh,
Well,
good.
she's good at most things regarding anything to food. It's like living in a Michelin star restaurant in our house, I tell you.
Oh, great.
Kevin Jackson says all the best to you and your mom.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate
Mr. Blue Sky says bottom, what a show. Young ones as well.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely
great.
fantastic.
Brilliant.
So fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on, mate. And hopefully it won't be too long before you're back on again. And, you know, it's just great to see you talking well, because you're autistic, is that right?
Yes, I've got autism, yes.
Mate, and so, like, I know that you've said to me in the past that coming on to here has helped you with your confidence and coming on and talking live on YouTube, because it's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. And you've just got better and better and better every time you come on, mate. And we do love you. And it's great to see you. And please, from all of us watching, there's still over 105 people tuning in, watching now. And there'll be loads watching it back, I'm sure, and listening to it on the podcast. Can you just please pass on our love and best wishes and support to your mom?
Oh, can I just say something as well? You know, you said it wasn't easy to come on. My mum says the reason it's easy to come on is because you helped me. So you're a great mate, and I would like to meet you one day.
Mate, that would be an absolute pleasure.
Probably not. I don't have to shake your hand, not because of COVID. It's because I don't like touch. But I don't know. Maybe a shake of a hand would be very good.
Absolutely fantastic, mate. I look forward to that when we can see you one day. And thank you for all your support, and to your mum as well. And hopefully we can make that happen sooner rather than later. God bless you, mate.
Oh, can I just mention one thing? I know you mentioned a long time ago about a charity match. Is that still on?
It's something that we're working on, mate. I got invited to one last year. I've got something that I've thought about, but obviously with things going on at the moment, I'm waiting to see what happens with that. But it might be the year after.
Can I help out?
Pardon?
Can I help out? I really would want to help out if that's all right.
That'd be fantastic. It's something I've got to. There's a lot of people I've got to talk to about my idea, but I'll come back onto that. But yes, mate, absolutely. I'd love to have your help out, mate. Fantastic.
Definitely. I can actually play football. You know, I'm very quick, and I'm quite muscly.
Fast, are you?
Yeah.
I've got a suggestion. Can we have you playing up front for Wolves next week? Then.
Do you know how much stone I'm in muscle?
Don't know.
13 stone in muscle, pure muscle. Promise you. I don't do weight. I do machines. So yeah, I'm 13 stone in muscle. So
you work out a lot.
Yeah, I'm not Traore, but I try. Yeah.
You're not Traore, but I try. Line of the night, that is, mate. Fantastic. Well, we'll have to when I get the trials on, I'll get you down and we'll actually time you, and we'll see what your best position is. That's fantastic. Thanks, Speedy. Fantastic. Adrian says, Speedy, great 10 minutes. James Layton says, take care, Speedy. Lots of love to your mom.
Thank you.
Andrew says, really nice, man. Wolves F1, who's a member, Speedy. And if you do want to become members, the link's in the description below, and you can get on the Discord group. And Gaz Roberts says, all the best, Speedy. Good to hear your mom is recovering. Absolutely fantastic. And Andrew Knight says, Speedy by name. That's why you're
crazy,
isn't it? Hey? There you go. God bless you, mate. Catch you the next time.
Mate. Take care, mate. All the best.
Right. So that's Speedy, top lad. And then we've got 2 to go. Sam, who's coming after the watershed, who's actually still stood outside Molineux. And if you don't believe me that he stood outside Molineux, you're going to believe it when he comes on the screen. And we've got now finally making his debut. Drum roll, he's smiling in the back. Liam, hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you so much for waiting so patiently.
You gave me a big drum roll there, a big reception.
No, it's brilliant, mate. And this is your debut, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully, first of many. It's a shame I had to come for this game because we didn't do too well.
Well, it's good because you get the thing being in the green room as well and being your first. I don't like to put people on first because you get to sort of get a gist of what people are talking about and stuff like that. But we everyone are going to be very interesting to know. I mean, people are already saying hello to you here, so let's welcome Liam onto the show. And basically, Liam, we wanted to learn a little bit more about you. So tell us how old you are, where you're from, and how have you got into supporting Wolves?
Well, I'm 15. I've got my GCSEs this year, so it's a big year. Obviously, I'm from Wolverhampton. Where else? Can't be anywhere else, really.
You're a proper young lad supporting your own town club. That's brilliant.
Yeah, childhood Wolves fan. Been fan since birth, really. So it's perfect.
Okay, and so like you're from Wolverhampton. Do you go to the game? Get to go to the games?
Yeah. Season ticket. I go to a couple away games here and there, but yeah, I got a season ticket.
And where do you sit in the stadium?
We sit in the Billy Wright stand. I want to go sit in the Steve Bulls, in the South Bank, but obviously we've got tickets where we can, so I'm grateful to go, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, there's a lot of people that are waiting for season tickets. So that if you've got a season ticket, you don't want to let them go, do you? Because you're struggling to get. So how long have you had the season ticket?
Since it was, I think it was the season that we went down to League One. I think that was the first season that I went.
Oh, for quite a while. So you actually started going in. And who do you go with?
I go with my dad's. Well, it's quite nice. We've got a nice row with like the whole family. We've got my dad, my brother, and then like my cousin, that side of the family. Like we all sit together. So it's quite nice.
And what's your pre-match ritual?
Sorry?
What's your pre-match ritual?
What, to meet up with everyone and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? How does a typical day look like for you?
Well, my dad's. I don't actually go with my dad. I just go with my brother. So we go in. He comes in like near enough right when the whistle blows. So he's very late. But it's usually me and my brother that are first, and then everyone starts coming in one by one, and then it's good time.
Talking about the game, and your scores and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, what was the mood like on your row this week?
It's difficult because every game this season it's been nice, because obviously last season behind closed doors and stuff, it's been nice this season because we've had that sense of involvement. Because last season on the telly, I didn't really feel involved. I didn't feel like I was there. I wanted to go and support my team, but obviously this season it's been so good. I think this season's been a breath of fresh air. But yesterday it was awful. It all went wrong. There's so many talking points you could talk about because there's many things that are going wrong, and I think being eight.
Well, this is what you're on. Tell us what, from your perspective, where's things going wrong?
I think because we're eight, it's kind of hiding the fact that how bad we've actually been. I think we've had really good performances, but by no means we have not cruised a single game this year. Obviously, United was a good game. I think that was probably the only game that I thought this was an incredible performance.
Yeah, the United away.
Yeah. Even the United at home, we did well, but obviously we lost. But I think there's that performance against Aston Villa. We did so well in the first half, but we somehow still made it difficult for ourselves.
That's so Wolves.
Yeah, because like that is a game that we should be killing off, and we usually, any team should do that. Somehow we were going into the last 10 minutes and it was nervy, because like the first 80 minutes of the game, it was the perfect performance. There was no problems. There was no, obviously, nerves. But as soon as that penalty went in, we just crumble. I mean,
don't you think after the first penalty and they missed it, that should have been the alarm bells, and they should have stepped it up. Yeah. But it didn't change anything, did it?
Yeah, I think I was saying it to my dad, because it's basically the equivalent of scoring a goal. The cheer going around the stadium, it's like that's something you've got to feed off. That's something you've got to go on the other end and stop putting them under pressure, make them, regret missing the pen, because we just gave them the opportunities just to come straight through. Obviously, the second penalty, at first I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought Welbeck was looking for it. I haven't really looked back at it. I don't really want to look at the highlights, but either way, I think Welbeck was going nowhere, and we still gave away a penalty. 2 penalties in one game. We've the amount of penalties we've conceded this season. Like, I think it's not been spoken about.
More than any other team.
And only one of them's not gone in. I think. Am I?
I think that's correct. As that was the the first one we missed, but they missed that one, so we give them another one to have a go.
Go. It just blows my mind how clumsy we are at the back. As much as we've done so well defensively, and I think Jose Sarr's kind of secured that. Really, I think we're so clumsy in the way that we make fouls that we don't need to make. I think the Bolly foul he didn't need to make, like for the penalty, because Welbeck was going nowhere. The Sace handball, you can kind of see he was trying to get out of the way. I think it is a penalty, but I think he shouldn't really have his arm there. Obviously, he's trying to block the cross, but we've got 5 at the back. Someone's going to be there to clear it up, and that's why you have 3 centre backs. Because if it gets past one of them, you've got the sweeper, which is.
You play a bit yourself, Liam?
I used to, but not much anymore. Obviously, school and stuff, it kind of gets in the way of it.
Now, to be honest, with you young lad, are you making some? I think David Krause just said here, Liam speaks well for a young lad, very confident. Kevin Layton says, yes, Liam, I agree. So there's lots of people that are, quite impressed with how you're talking and the common sense that you make. Where do you think it's gone wrong? What do you think? Do you think there's something, an issue behind the scenes? Do you think they're not bothered?
Yeah.
Are they on the beach? What can you put your finger on anything?
I think one of the main, there's so many problems you can pick up. You can pick up the player's attitude. You could even, Bruno substitutions. But one thing you've got to pick up is the recruitment. There was something like the team against Burnley last week when you compared that to the team that we had 2 seasons ago. I think those 3 changes. There was Semedo for Doherty. There was Sarr for Patricio. Yeah. And I think there was... Wait, no, there was 4. I think it was Fabio for Jota or it was Fabio for Jota. It was Hwang and Fabio weren't there. Yeah. There was... And that's crazy because football is not... It's not a sport that you can keep the same. You see teams like Liverpool, how good they've been. They can do that, but even then, they're adding on talent to their squad. They're adding on people like Luis Diaz, even Jota. Like we've got. It's been too long that we've had the same core squad, and I think 8th has been incredible for us this season, but nothing was stopping us from going higher into those European places.
We should have gone higher. Liam, we should have done, and that I think every single Wolves fan, that's the frustration. Yeah. It's like almost as if, oh God, we're 8th. We better start not. We don't want to get into Europe because we've only got a small squad, and it means we're going to have to spend a bit more money. I don't know. This is why I think the summer window is going to be a real pivotal moment on Fosun's ambition for this club. And I think the supporters have been quite patient and understanding and supportive generally. But this summer window it's massive. And if they dilly-dally or faff about and they don't do it in the right way, the fans are going to start pointing the finger at the board. If they do invest, then obviously you've got to then look at Bruno and what he can do with his team, his proper team, and then you judge him off that. I don't think you can fully judge him. I mean, I'm not, there's some people saying for him to go. And if Fosun don't believe, as someone said, that actually, if they're not fully committed to him, then it's up for them to make that decision. But if they are, and they bought him in, then they've got to properly back him.
Yeah.
They've got to back him in the summer.
I think Bruno, you can see his frustration. I don't think he wants to play this system. I think I've been saying this for ages. The day that we move to a 4-back is the day that we can actually look forward and we can improve. Because as much as this 5-back has done so well for us, there's this one little thing that we need, like this one more piece in the jigsaw just to get over that line to actually challenge like West Ham did in that season. We need to go to a back four, and that means we need to buy players. I've seen something in the Athletic that they're moving Kilman to the left-hand side of the back three. So that just shows that even if we're going to sign players, we're not going to move to that four back. And as much as five back is good, and I think it's been really good for us, you can see it by the lack of chances created because we haven't got like a Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's perfect. You don't even need to buy a midfield player. You've got one in the Championship.
You see, I'm with you on this, Liam. I know some people don't like Morgan. They say he's not the answer and stuff like that. But this chat, Morgan, the problem that I had with Morgan Gibbs-White was his attitude.
Yeah.
That he was a bit immature, that he's got the glamour girlfriend, the glamour lifestyle, and maybe it went to his head a little bit. He made some mistakes during the lockdown. People make mistakes. He's gone out on loan to Sheffield United. Sorry about the loss of connection there, guys. Apologies for that. I'm just saying that Morgan Gibbs-White, he's gone on loan to Sheffield United and been basically their player of the season. And if he's manned up and learnt a lot from that, then, why shouldn't he? He's a Wolves player. He does add something, and I think he's an option. So I don't think people should be dismissing him. You have to judge him. Now he's growing up.
Yeah, I think
plenty of games.
I think he hasn't had that season where he's been playing game in, game out. I think he had that season, the first season we came up, he had a good run of games because I think it was that Chelsea game at home where we beat him 2-1. I think that was the game that he kind of shone and he showed Nuno what type of player he was. I think since then he didn't ever get a look in on the team because
sorry about that, guys. We're back again. We've lost. We seem to have lost Liam. So this is some technical glitches. Hopefully, you can put some thumbs up if you can hear it in the chats. Apologies about that. Carl Whitehouse says Morgan Gibbs-White has plenty to learn from his mistakes at the club and needs opportunities to play games for Wolves. So that's a fair comment. I don't disagree with that. I think we still need to go in the transfer market and buy a couple of quality midfields. I think we need another striker. I think we need strengthening in defence. I think there's a lot of areas, every area of the pitch we need strengthening. I think the wing backs generally are good enough.
Yeah.
Because when they're all fit, but it's through the spine, and they've got to go with it.
I did a tweet about it the other day. I was thinking about what kind of summer would take Wolves to the next level, and I think part of that has to come down to selling Neves. As much as he's our star player, you've kind of got to look at it from a business point of view. I think he's a player that obviously you can't really replace him for a team like Wolves. I think obviously, like Bruno said, to a team like Wolves, he's worth over 100 million. I think if we can get 100 million for him, I think that would be really good. I doubt we will. I think we would settle for about 60, even 50. But I think it does take selling a player like Neves, like Villa. They sold their best player, Grealish, and they've invested it in different players to improve their squad. And as much as they haven't done too well this season, I'd probably say they're on track for something good. The signing of Coutinho was a statement signing because I don't really see where Wolves are going. I can see where teams are going, like Newcastle. Obviously, they've got their money, but and Villa, I can see them. I can see like their vision and where they're going. But with Wolves, you just feel like every transfer window we call for something to happen, and slowly and slowly, the window goes on, and we just don't get. Nothing happens.
I think that's frustration, isn't it? We need to come out the blocks and I'm hoping that they've got a plan right now. They've already got the buttons ready to press.
Yeah.
Mendes needs to step up and do what Mendes does, and like he did when we first started. We've got to go for it. Yeah. Liam, so man of the match for you?
If I have to give one, it's got to be Sarr because he made a good couple saves in the first half that kept us in it, really.
I agree with that. Performance rating?
0.
So you're going to give it a 0?
Yes.
Not even anything?
No chance. Not even a 1. none of those players looked like they wanted it at all.
A
Saints
zero?
was walking about everywhere. I think
That's how bad. That's
Yeah.
how bad it is. That's how bad it is if you get in zeros. Moment of the day.
I got a McDonald's at the end of the day. I guess that's probably the best one. There wasn't
Mate,
anything.
that's why we're saying moment of the day, not the
Yeah,
match.
yeah. That's it, really.
Fantastic. So a Mackey's at the end. That's good. What did you have? A big tasty, a Big
Had
Mac or what?
I had a 9 chicken nugget meal. Well, it's not a meal, but 9 chicken nuggets and chips. So
And that cheered you
quite
up
nice.
a bit then.
a little
Yeah,
bit,
nice
yeah, a
one.
little bit.
And do you have any Netflix recommendations or favourite TV shows?
I was thinking about this. Both I had 2. Both of them have been taken. There was Afterlife and there was The Ripper.
Afterlife
both of them been
a few
taken.
times tonight.
Yeah, it's a good. It's really good. That along with The Ripper, I think them 2 are really good. If there was anyone else, probably SWAT. It's kind of like a
Probably
it's
what?
just SWAT. It's just SWAT. It's an American thing, but it's like
We're
a
through.
policing thing. I think we've gone again.
Sorry about that. It must be my connection. I don't know whether the internet breaks at a certain time or my battery's running low on my computer. Hold on. Yeah. So, Liam, fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I hope. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, it's
Hope to
fine.
get you on again. And
Hopefully,
thanks
yeah.
for supporting the channel. But now you've got your first one out the way. You can hopefully you'll come on again. You spoke really, really well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, mate. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye. So last but not least, and we must say big thanks to Spider Miner for powering the thingy. I told you that he was outside of Molyneux. It's Mr. Sam Payne, and I'm literally. This is an absolutely epic podcast. We're on 2 hours and 26 minutes. This is a new record. I've got 15% left on my battery, and my Mac never runs out. So, Sam,
how we doing?
It's after the watershed.
So I can say whatever I like, really. Well, the first thing is then, folks,
say whatever you like without swearing.
Okay, players, if you're out there watching, any management from Wolves that are out there watching, it's all about this. It's all about playing for it. It's not about thinking about being on the beach or, oh, don't worry, we're in 8th, we're safe. Play for this badge, will you? Because that's what I pay my season ticket money for. That's my first rant out the way.
100%.
Okay, second one. Yes, there's fans out there calling for Lage's head. I'm sorry, but I tend to agree. He was never the Fosson's first choice. He was a second choice, if not a third choice, if not a fourth choice.
Who was the first choice?
He wasn't a first choice at all. Lopetegui was the first choice, and they couldn't get him.
Yeah.
So
that's 4 years ago. Was he the first choice last summer, though?
Yes, he wasn't the first choice last summer, but they couldn't get them. But we won't go into that. It's all water under the bridge. The big problem we've got at the moment is we have got players that haven't got their heart in it. The manager doesn't know. Well, sorry, the head coach doesn't know what to do with it. He's losing his rag in training, and that has come out of the training ground this week. There's been a little bit of an upset, hasn't there?
Is there definite substance in this?
Yeah, there is. It's come from a journalist. I can't mention any names, but it's come from a journalist. He works for the ENS. Say no more. That's the end of that one. But the last time this happened, it cost the manager his job because the players weren't playing for him, and it fell out. And it started in October, and it went all the way through the season till he was got rid of. So, in my mind, yes, we need a team rebuild. We possibly need to do something about the manager, unless we're going to back him and give him the £200 million that he's actually going to need to get a team that's in the top 4.
If you're the chairman, Sam, because I've been saying this all night, back him or sack him. What are you going to do?
Sack him. I'd have him gone. I'd have him gone yesterday after that game. That was such an abysmal performance. You've got to give it a naught because not a player on there other than Sarr was interested. Now, you yourself said that Cody was giving the players some G up at the back. Come the 44th minute, he'd stopped doing it. He wasn't bothered. He got his head down. He's lost his way. So I'll go through at the moment. I'm going to go a different way with this for you. I'll go through the team. Rather than giving you a 0 out of 10, which is my original thing, Jose Sarr, I'll give him 7 out of 10. At least he was trying. Will Bolly, I'll give him a 2. Connor Cody, I'll give him a 2. Roman Sace, I'll give him a 1. Pathetically giving away a penalty that never should have been given. He knows to keep his arms out the way, and he goes and sticks it out up here. Silly man. Nathan Semedo, I might give him a 3. He was off giving it. Neves, I think he's one of the players we should actually sell. I do think he's had his head turned. So he's got a 3 as well. Dendoncker, I'll give him a 1. He was appalling. It's the worst I've ever seen him play. Joe Martinho, I think I'd get him on the coaching staff very soon because I think he's towards the end of his playing. I think he'll stay with us for that. I'll give him a 4. Ait Nori, I struggle to give him anything. Silva, I'm sorry, fans out there. Silva can't hack it. He shouldn't be in this league. He's a championship player at the moment. He's not good enough for the Premier League. He can't finish. He can't find the net. He's had 2 goals that I've seen that have been any good, and that's in the season. Now, time to go. And Wangi Chan, I don't know why we bought the lad. He's had 2 goals, and he's been absolute rubbish since. As you say, I can't swear. I've got players on the bench that I would have played over these. Pedro Neto, I'd have played him over him. Trincao, I'd have played over Marshall. Toti Gomez needs to be getting some game time, and so does Luke Cundle. But as for the comments about getting Morgan's White's back, got to get him fit first and good enough to play because he's not hacking it in training from what I've been told. Yes, if he can get back, we might give him a couple of minutes at the end of a game to be an impact stub. But again, we've had no decent substitutions made till late 70th minutes normally. Yesterday, he did it at half time and he changed 2. Now, he took the wrong players off in my mind. He really did. And he brought one of the wrong players on. Jimenez hasn't been the same player since our dear friend Louis did the damage to his head for him. Whether it was purposeful or not, nobody will ever know. But I don't think we're ever going to get that player back to where he was. So there's a replacement needed there. From what everybody said, I think we need 2 more at the back so we can go to 4 at the back. I do think we need another midfielder in there, and I think we need 2 attackers. And unless we spend the money on proven Premiership players, not Portuguese players or Spanish players, Premiership players, we're not going to get up that table. That's my little rant over for you.
No, mate. I mean, you've said it how it is. This is what I said with after the Watership. Because you will never pull any punches.
I'm not going to be a punch. I've been going to Wolves since I was 4. I've been through the dreaded 80s. I've been down the divisions. I've been to grounds on a Tuesday night in the pouring rain in the middle of winter, and I've followed them through thick and thin. I've missed a few games this season, and we'll know why. And unfortunately, I'm fighting it again, but that's beside the point. But I'm half tempted to say I don't want to go to Chelsea next week because I don't want to watch us put out a mediocre team that doesn't want to fight to even get a 0-0 draw, let alone a 7 or 8-0 loss, which it looks like it could be. Norwich, I can't see us beating Norwich, and that's saying something at the moment. So I don't think we're going to get anything from the remaining games. I can see Man City coming and giving us a trouncing. I think Kevin De Bruyne will have a field day. I think Jesus might give him a field day. Still, I don't know. I'm so frustrated with what I'm seeing. And as it's going through the season, it's got worse and worse and worse. Arsenal, we saw each other at that game. We threw it away. And we don't seem to be able to take a lead, press to get a second and a third goal to make sure that lead's held. We seem to get the 1-0 and we seem to play ourselves back and go defensive to try and hold 1-0 leads. It's not going to work in the Premiership. Teams are picking us apart. They know what we're about and we're not trying anything different. So my mind is either back Bruno, tell him now that you're going to give him 200 million, tell him which players they want to get rid of, or Get rid of him on Tuesday morning. Tell him he's gone. Get in somebody ready for the season that's coming, but back them in the transfer window to bring their team in and not have another manager's team.
The thing that concerned me with Bruno, I mean, I personally back him because I think you can only really judge him when he's brought some of his players in and he's still playing with players that aren't all his and they haven't really backed him properly. But the thing that frustrated me is like the Wolves TV interview and the interviews he's done recently is like he said absolutely nothing. He looked shell shocked.
Doesn't know what to say, does he?
Like we've just watched Brighton play. You know, we've seen this game so many times. It's like, well, that's your job to make sure that we don't see this game over and over again. So that's the frustration. And I can see that it started. That's why I'm saying that some of the cracks are starting to appear. And I do think this is why the summer window is pivotal. They've either got to make a call on him now and go, actually, this isn't working out and it's not going the direction that we want. Or, you know, this is not going in the direction we want because we haven't invested enough and we need to back him in the summer window and judge him on that. And I'm kind of like hoping that that's the route that they go down because I think he's got something. And we saw at the start of the season how exciting we were. And as like you said, the season is almost like a reflection of the game. We started well. We have a couple of good bits, and then we're gradually tailing off. And that's
the only thing the only thing we've seen earlier in the season, whereas normally we play better in the second half, we've been playing better in the first 25 minutes, and then we've been dropping off into our lackadaisical football. But I don't know. Anyway, I've got a question. Right, if you were a manager or a head coach of a team of people, who authorises players' holidays? You as the manager or the coach? So people that have said that there's players on the beach or wherever they are, who authorises it? That's down to Bruno agreeing they can go.
Yeah.
All right. Transfers. Who authorises employing somebody? Who has the final say in it above your board? You as your manager, tell your board if you're happy with them coming in. So we can't argue about the players that have come in. Okay. Team selection and training and coaching. Who oversees that? Bruno at Molineux. Okay. Who picks the team Saturday, an hour before the game or 2 hours before the game? Bruno, based on what he's seen in training. Okay. And finally, whose game plan is it that is put on the pitch on a Saturday? It's the managers, the coaches. Bruno. What's the name in the middle of that is running all of what we see on the pitch on a Saturday? It's Bruno. It's not the board at that point. The board are only authorising when he goes to them and says, I'd like this player. Can Mendes go out and get them? Or can we approach the player? At that point, the board come in and say, we'll do it. So unless they back him, get rid.
Crikey. Fair play to you, Sam. That's why we have the thing so people can say how it is. It's interesting. I think we are approaching a crisis point potentially for Wolves. I'm just thank goodness that it's been said in the chat that we've got so many points on the board. We are safe. Yeah. We take a step back. We look at the start of the season, and if we didn't know everything that's gone on, and we said, "Oh, Wolves are out in the Premier League with 4 games to go," we're going good first season, not too bad. So he's done the job to get us the points on the board to 8th. It's not been good since January at all.
The thing is, the games that we've taken the lead in and then we've thrown away, or the games we just haven't turned up at, I think we've probably lost 20 points this season from those games. If you add 20 points onto 49, we're on 69 points. Where would that put us in the table at the moment? 3rd.
I know. That's the frustration.
That's what the frustration is with the fans, and that's why I think you've got this split now in the fans of whether we back the manager or we get rid. And there always is that with people. Now, if I was in a job and I was not managing my team properly, my employer would get rid of me. They wouldn't keep me. If I'd got a team member that wasn't playing properly, I'd get rid. I wouldn't keep them. I'd replace them.
Ever since he got manager of the month, it's gone downhill.
It's gone downhill.
The old manager of the month curse.
Yeah. It's come
So
back to
anyway,
bite
you've
us.
given us your rating and your man of the match,
Yep.
and you've gone through and done all of that.
Yeah.
Moment of the day.
Moment
for
of
you,
the match. Right,
Moment
where
of the
you
day.
moment of the day. Well, I'm going to actually take it into the crowd. There were two moments that led up to something that I thought was really, really good, and that was a young lady sitting in the third, fourth row behind the nets, and her son and her husband. Unfortunately, the son got hit twice by balls that the goalkeeper Steele was hitting. Okay, and Steele went to his coaches, got his shirt off, signed it with a marker pen by one of his coaches, and came over and apologised and made a big thing of apologising and giving him his shirt. Now, that was a good bit of sportsmanship by him, and he was truly upset that he'd hit a young person in the stands. So, moment of the day, that was for me. Have we lost you again? Are you back, Dave?
Yeah, sorry about that. It's like my battery's going and the internet's going. So it's like we are on. We're on 2 hours 40. This is mammoth. And I didn't expect it to be this long tonight, but you can understand why. So I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
You know, and thank you for everyone that's been sticking in with it through the chat. I know it's been a long one. And if you're listening to it back on the podcast, it's probably going to do it in three episodes, I think. But there you go. Got what you were saying. He gave him the shirt.
Yeah, so that'd be Steele for the moment of the day, giving his shirt away because he wasn't happy that he'd hit a player, hit a fan with the ball during warm up. I don't do Netflix. I don't have time for it. But if I could say, go back to the 80s, 70s and 80s, I'd watch the Love Thy Neighbour series again. Because they were in the days where you could say what you thought. There was none of this PC and you've got to be political correct in everything. So have a watch of that again. And if you want to see something that's really nice on the eye, watch the Dukes of Hazzard again and have a look at Daisy. What else can you say?
The Dukes of Hazzard. That's a good old.
The good old boys.
Good. Yeah, no, I think I remember that being on, and like with the likes of the A team and all of that. Just one thing I should say that Wolves have got right recently. Is the partnership with Her Game 2 that we should say, which is quite good. And obviously Emma's one of the official ambassadors. Is that the right word for that? And so hopefully some more stuff will be coming down. They're cutting all these, that's really, really positive as well. So, but aside from that, it's hard to really think of anything positive, is it, Sam?
Yeah, I know. Very good, isn't it? So what can you say?
I know, mate. And you always say how it is. Adrian Richards has summed it up perfectly at the end. And Steve Griffith says, we also agree with the last 10 results are poor. The squad has just needed improvement for the last 3 seasons of Fosun. Haven't done it. Come on, Jeff. Spend a bit.
If Jeff hadn't been into so many bars buying fans drinks, he'd have had the money to have bought a player.
Yeah, back in the day when they used to do that, mate. So I mean, we're going to watch early. You've not got much. Any points any points or any goals for the end of the season?
I'm struggling to think where we might get anything. If we actually do get a goal, I think the only place we'll get it's against Norwich. But I can see them hitting 2 or 3 back at us, and we won't know what to do with it again, will we?
Mate, if we lose to Norwich at home again,
sacrilege.
I'm hoping we get a reaction next weekend. As I said all along, it wouldn't surprise me with this Wolves team, with the turn up for Wolves, Liverpool,
against Chelsea,
Liverpool, and Liverpool. But you got to turn up against the thing, and I think that's the frustration, guys. We're on 2 hours and nearly 45 minutes. It's been the longest one. Thank you for everyone that's taken the time to come on and talk. Thanks for our debutants as well, which is brilliant. Well done to Manny and the team at, raising 7K for Dementia UK, which is fantastic. Thank you for Spider Miner for helping power the show. Please check the link below, and of course the football prizes never shirts on there behind. If you do want to become a member, there's lots of different benefits of becoming a member and supporting the channel. The link is in the description below, and you can get on the Discord group as well. And if you watch this and you've stuck with us, before you log off, please smash a like on the video to say that you've enjoyed it. The international fan reaction will be out tomorrow night, and then we'll be looking forward to the game against Chelsea. And make sure you do check out my golf vlog, because it is absolutely class. And if you are listening to it back on the podcast, well done, because you've done 2 hours 45 minutes, which is absolutely epic. It is officially the longest Always Wolves podcast ever. So as we approach 2 hours and 45 from myself, all the guys and gals, all that have been involved in the chat or on the screen, we wish you and your family all the best. Keep the faith, stick behind the team. We're here to criticise. It is our jobs to report and to be able to criticise, as long as we do it in the right way. And let's hope that the right decisions are made as we approach the summer, and we'll see what happens with the last 4 games of the season. Until then, always Wolves.
See you.